everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah. We are excited as usual, and maybe even a little more excited because I just love the long form, and I love going dipping deep into a serial killer and figuring out what's going on there. So this is a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for this series. And I was jacked last week. We got... In part one, we already got him, showing his dick to half of Portland. So, I mean, it's only going to get crazier from there. It's wild stuff. Before we get too deep into it, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all of your merchandise, first of all. There's tickets, there's T-shirts and skateboards and coffee cups and shower curtains, whatever you want there. So much stuff. Also, definitely get your tickets for Small Town Murder live shows in the fall. Only a few of them have tickets left at this point. I think there's a few we just released for Grand Rapids, so if you were looking for tickets for there, I think Irvine just sold out, so I don't think we have that, but we have Seattle in November and D.C. and Philly in December, so get your tickets for those. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, for sure, definitely get yourself Patreon. What are you're missing out otherwise. Patreon.com/crimeinsports, and what you get there is anybody $5 a month or above, you are going to get a gigantic back catalog of episodes, hundreds of 300 episodes on there that you'll get immediately upon subscription. You can binge those. Then you get new ones every other week, one crime and sports, one small town murder, and you, my friends,
you do
get every last drop of it. So this week, what you're going to get for crime and sports, we're going to talk about Jeff Alm, who is an NFL player who had we'll just say a spectacular firework-like ending. It's just wild, crazy stuff. We'll talk about that. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to get into some weird stuff here. We do the prisoner dating game. We talk about love after lockup. We're going to talk about people who seek prisoners to be in romantic relationships with.
Right.
From ones who married serial killers to just who's out there perusing through writeaprisoner.com. Like, let's figure it out. What the hell are these people thinking? That and more. So that is patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all that. And you get a shout out at the end of the show. You want to hear your name. Jimmie would like you to hear your name.
I'd love to. Hopefully
those two things will mix. Hopefully you'll recognize your name, and but he's going to try his best, so that's what's important here. So that said, I think it's time to just get right back into our scum pit. Let's do it with Randall Woodfield, one of the worst people who's ever existed, probably. He really is. He's a really bad person, just a shit guy. Yeah. It's so strange. Some serial killers, I don't know what it is. No matter how many people they kill, you look at some of them and you go, you're past, or I feel bad that happened to them, so that makes sense. Like when you look at Richard Ramirez, you go, okay, he never had a chance.
No, it was going to happen.
Never had a chance. Like he had an uncle that was like a crazy, murderous Vietnam all fucked up in the head, teaching him crazy shit. And like he had no chance. Whereas this guy, you go, hey, you asshole. I wish I had your upbringing. I fucking wish.
Right.
He had the life that when we were kids, we were like, oh man, imagine that. Imagine living like that.
He probably had amazing toys.
Oh, he had so many good toys. It's not even funny. If he was a kid in the 80s, he would have had all the He-Men. Oh. He would have had everything. The castles, you name it, he would have had.
The troll that had the bracelets that were chains.
Jesus
the
Christ!
Best Teddy Ruxpin. It wouldn't even
the
been
top
a Freddie
tier
Tuck
one.
Spin. Yeah.
No, the top tier Teddy Ruxpin. He would have had it all, man. All the wrestling figures. He would have had everything. He would have lived like I try to live now, basically.
Trying to find all your old toys that you couldn't get.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get back into Randall. When we left off with Randall, he was just drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Fulfilling his life's ambition.
Yeah.
All he's ever wanted is to be an NFL football player, and now he's on the Packers, a storied franchise.
Yeah. And
in the mid-'70s, too, where they were coming off. I mean, Vince Lombardi's not there anymore. He's dead, I think, at this point, but still.
But there's legend.
It's you're going to Lambeau Field. It's the whole thing here, So he was so happy to be here, by the way. So happy he's saved. He's a big pack rat.
Oh.
For a guy that moved so often, because he's constantly on the move, I don't know how he kept all of this stuff, but his correspondence is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't bring couches and end tables and shit places. His boxes are all letters and paper. his correspondences with people, and he saved every piece of paper that came from the Green Bay Packers. Everything
from the Packers that they ever wrote to him.
If it had a little Packer helmet on it and came from 1265 Lombardi Avenue, that shit was getting put in a folder all by itself.
All right. Is that where the front office is?
Yeah, that's their address. Nice. So he did all of this and kept everything for years. I mean, everywhere he went, he had everything because that was his proof that he once did something.
Yeah.
So he would show people that, look, I was on the Packers. And, if they go, yeah, right, because there's no internet, you can't check. Yeah, right. He'd be like, look at all these letters telling me to show up for practice and shit. See? So
check the roster on Google.
Duh.
Can't do it.
So he signs his contract, and they tell him to head to early training camp, which is, a rookie training camp in Scottsdale. So
really?
That's where they were training, which is interesting. Now all the teams kind of train near there, somewhere around. I know the Packers do it in like somewhere out in Wisconsin somewhere.
Really?
But back then they used to travel for it. It was weird. They used to have, I don't know if that was for team building or whatever to get everybody away.
On the road together?
Yeah, to be kind of trapped, like a battalion, to be just like marooned somewhere with just
all
you.
This cock.
Yeah, just gaze at your fellow teammates' cocks, please.
You're going to see a dick this week.
Gaze upon them with wonder, you assholes. So he got an airline ticket in the mail. He's like, this is real. I'm on the goddamn Packers. So it said in the letter that this is a get acquainted period so that in July we can all begin together toward our common goal, the championship.
Right.
Which the Packers did not win for another 22 years. So
it took a while. Yeah.
It took a while after that. Yeah, 96 season, 97. So yeah, that's what they did. They had to go to a dinner in Phoenix on April 4th. And the Packers they're paying for his travel, lodging, meals, and $50 for like, per diem basically.
Some out, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great.
About.
He even saved the airline ticket carbon. Back in the day, you'd get physical.
Oh, wow. Remember that?
Yeah, that's so old.
Wow.
Physical tickets that had like a carbon thing inside of them, which was so strange.
In the middle, yeah.
He saved that for years. That's how. Wow. They gave him shoes and like cleats. He was like, "This is amazing." This is a
life.
He's making it. Yeah. So I guess he said that the Sporting News asked for information so that they could add Randy's name to the Sporting News stuff, and he was like, "Oh my God, the Sporting News is asking about me. Like, this is incredible." This is 1974. Things went well in Arizona. So he went back to Portland and, waiting for stuff. And every time they'd send him a letter in the mail about when to be here, when to take a physical or whatever, he'd tuck it away and file it neatly. They sent him diagrams for how to work out and how to, different like workouts to do to build muscle. This isn't like now where if you had a draft pick, they're at the facility and they're working out. This is like, so when you're home, tell you what you do here. Take a couple of dumbbells and do these. Like, totally different.
Broccolini.
Yeah, eat that. Lots of steak, they'd tell you.
Yeah.
Eat steak 3 times a day. So that's what he would do. And it also said in a letter from the one of his trainers, I would suggest that you catch as many balls as possible each week, both standing and moving catches.
Okay.
So you go ahead and practice on your own. Just get that worked out on your own.
Catch balls. Who throws them? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I don't care. Get a 9-year-old from the neighborhood to toss them at you.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Use your damn hands. So he gets a first-class ticket to go to Green Bay.
Wow.
They sent him that. A limo is waiting for him.
Dang.
At the airport. He's like...
For a 37th round pick?
I'm Bart Starr, for Christ's sake. It's a classy organization.
No shit.
He's like a 17th rounder, and they're sending...
they're sending a limo for this.
I would assume they'd send like the pickup truck from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where they're like, he always sits up front, and there's like a pig up there, and you have to sit in the back. So, but no, they sent that to take him to their training facility here. But he didn't use the first-class ticket or the limo. He wanted to drive his car to the Midwest.
Oh, from where? From
Portland.
From fucking Oregon?
Yes, he wants to drive his car.
Oh, my God.
Because he said he wanted the added mobility. which means I want to be able to escape this facility and go show my dick to women in the middle of the night.
Right.
I can't do that if I have no car.
I don't think the driver's going to be.
No.
If I pull up next to them, closer.
No, get my window
Unlock
with her
the
window. God damn it. Never mind. Now she turned. Fuck. It's a lot.
The child locks are on the door, you son of a bitch.
Or what do you have, a cab driver just drop you off in a good flashing area? Where would you... Let me ask you something, sir. If you were to, let's say, show your dick to as many women as possible, what area of town would you go to? That's probably not a thing that the cab driver gets asked a lot.
Where's the best penis peeking area?
Anywhere? Anybody want to peek my peen? Because I can show it.
What if I wanted to be the one that was allowing the peeking?
What if, So now there was also rumors of strikes going through in the NFL at this point, too. There was a lot of labor unrest in the NFL. This is when the WFL was starting to. So, but Randy was doing this. His coach is Dan Devine, who came from Notre Dame. Dan Devine, or actually went to Notre Dame. Dan Devine is the coach in Rudy.
Oh, really?
When they say Dan Devine from the Green Bay Packers, that's what they're talking about. He gets fired from the Green Bay Packers for sucking there, and then goes to Notre Dame and lets Sean Astin run around for a while for some reason.
For no reason.
Yeah. So he is confident that he can make the squad.
Okay.
He's like, I can make it. And back then, it's not a 53-man roster. It's a 47-man roster. So even less chance to make it, especially for a late-round draft pick. Like, he better be real good on special teams and, have a whole bunch of different skills that he can put in here, or else he's going to be in a lot of trouble. August 20th, 1974, some cuts happen with the Packers, and I feel like they just went and cut guys with a certain name.
Oh?
This is who they cut. Defensive tackle Randy Nelson, safety Randy Richardson, and wide receiver Randy Woodfield.
The word's out. There's a guy named Randy that's a bad guy. All of them are gone.
Off this team. No guys named Randy on this team. That's new
One
decree.
bad apple, you guys.
Sorry, can't do it.
Spoils the Randys.
Some guy named Randy fucked Dan Devine's teenage daughter, and he's like, no Randys, I won't have one.
You all said you didn't do it, but one of you did, so you're all gone.
Gave my daughter the warts. I know it was one of yous. I know it.
No warts.
They cut a couple other people. They said tight end Bill Farrell and safety Ned Guilett left on their own accord.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck. They just quit. They said that one guy was an 8th-round draft pick, well ahead of Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randall was a 17th-round draft pick. The other guys were all free agents. And basically what he says is he makes a lot of excuses that the Packers were in a very run-heavy offense, which was true. So they weren't really looking for wide receivers. But the truth of the matter is, if you're a 17th-round pick, you got
to really impress.
That's what I mean. You better be the hardest-working guy on the field. You better be playing special teams. You better be running down with reckless. They got to go, holy shit, that kid's a maniac. They have to say that repeatedly. They
have to say your name on every special teams play. You have to be involved.
That son of a bitch, no matter where we put him, he's just in the middle of everything. You got to make it so they can't cut you. But
whether he tackles or not, he's got to be in on the play.
Yeah, he's not like that, though. He's like, I'm pretty.
Yeah,
I can catch passes.
I look good in green and gold.
My uniform I'm looking pretty right now. They really should definitely keep me. Randy would later say that the team treated him more as a tackling dummy than anything else.
Oh, and he does not like to get hit.
No, and that's the other thing. If you're a 17th round pick, you're a practice body at that point. You're a training camp body that the real players can beat the shit out of to get in shape.
Sure.
And if one of you happens to show yourself as something spectacular, you can make the team. But otherwise, that's what you're there for. That's why they had so many rounds. Obviously they can't. They're not going to put 25 new guys on the roster every year. Right. So it's kind of silly. After he was cut here, they did keep him. Back then they had farm teams. They had these small teams that the franchises would subsidize, like a minor league team kind of. Yeah. And they had the Manitowoc Chiefs. So he played with the Chiefs.
Played up in Manitowoc.
Yeah, so he played with them for the fall. Yeah. So they kept him in the mix. I guess that's kind of like being on the practice squad, sort of.
It's just
you're in their loop. They're going to keep an eye on you type of deal. So he also, while he's doing that, he worked for the Oshkosh Truck Corporation as a press brake operator in the manufacturing of fire trucks.
Okay.
So at
that
some
sounds
point,
complicated.
I don't know if I trust this guy with any of that, but
and managing the brake system of a giant machine.
I don't know if a press brake operator does that or if there was something on the assembly line that I'm not sure.
He's press braking something there?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To stop the machine? I don't know.
Either way, somebody was saved by a fire truck that this asshole helped build, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. So he thought he could work his way back to the Packers. He's playing for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And
the Manitowoc Chiefs, not the
Manitowoc
Chiefs.
Chiefs. No. Let's be very specific. So he loved, by the way, he said they played the rookie games in Green Bay, and he loved it. 40,000 people showed up, and so he's got this taste, basically, of this. He hates the weather in Wisconsin, though, because he's from Portland.
Who doesn't?
A little chilly in the winter there. Yeah. So the funny thing is, the Packers are going to just quietly cut him, basically. And it's funny because the reason why we'll find out. But the other thing, he's got very small hands, which nowadays they wouldn't even draft you as a receiver. I've seen, how many times have we heard, this quarterback doesn't have big enough hands? Like they ever measured that back in the day, and it gave it matter to fucking drop. But they think they have these like measurables now that they can figure it out. But he didn't have very big hands, which is not a good quality for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of these receivers. Look at Chris Carter when he's talking on TV. He's 6 feet tall. He's got Arsenio fingers. He's fucking.
He wears Mickey gloves, but they fit.
Yeah, super strange, dude.
Yeah.
So he tells his friends also that he didn't play loose enough while he was there. Okay. Said he was too nervous and too tense. He said he would tense up when he should have been playing confidently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just passes off the tip of his fingers. You know,
he just had a little more finger.
He did a little more finger. That's the problem. So he, it's funny too. A lot of times when he takes pictures, he loves taking pictures because his body's in great shape.
He is.
Most of the time, his hands are never visible in a picture.
Oh. He's embarrassed.
Like he puts them behind his back a lot.
Oh, no.
Or you'll see a lot of the pictures, his hands are not visible. So like he has a thing about his hands being small.
Yeah, he's very self-conscious.
Funny. Why do people with small hands are very self-conscious?
Why do you give a shit?
I've never heard of a woman being like, oh my God, my hands are too small and like being embarrassed. But a guy is like, oh, my tiny little hands.
Yeah, but I have seen tiny hands on a woman and been like, oh, I don't like that.
Well, if it fits their size.
Yeah, right. But like I've seen,
Sarah has small hands, but she's 5'1", so
she's also small.
She should have small. She had big hands. It'd be weird. She's palming a basketball. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
She's got a bunch of bananas there.
Yeah.
That's weird.
What is happening right now?
But I've seen like normal sized women with tiny hands. And it's weird, but it's weirder when it's guys to me because it's like, I don't know, guys do a lot more things with their hands.
Let me ask you this though: when you saw this woman with small hands, did it make you want to have sex with her any less?
No.
Couldn't care less.
To see my small penis in her small hands.
Just gonna say you went, oh, that'll make my dick look bigger. That's exactly what you said, and
that's gonna help.
Yeah, that's gonna be good for me.
She's going to be able to use her hands and blow me at the same time.
Now, there's a lot of women who are into hands.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of a woman say they don't want to go out with a guy because his hands are too small. I've never heard of that before. No. So, like,
it's always like they want a specific hand. Like, they want it to... They want veins in it, shit like that.
There's the big, too. They want something that seems strong, like whatever.
Right.
There
are women that really get into calluses.
Yeah.
They like really love a rough hand. And I've worked my entire life to get rid of that shit.
Something breaks, he's going to fix it. I like it. But guys, that's the weird thing. Guys will get a weird little self-conscious thing about themselves that women don't care about at all.
You're right.
But we think that this is everyone, it's all anyone can see on us.
Yeah.
But women generally are pretty forgiving.
I know a dude in his 50s that's bald, aged into baldness. and he's furious. He shaves it, but
In
he
his 50s?
wears a hat every day. 53?
I mean, I wear a hat every day, but not
he
to
wears a
cover up
hat every day to
anything.
cover up his bald head.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You just shaved it. It looks great. Keep it out. I don't know.
You're in your 50. Once you hit 50, all that shit, you made it to wherever. It doesn't matter
gone.
anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't give a fuck.
You shouldn't expect to be handsome anymore.
No. If you have anything that turns women on about you in your 50s,
Good for you.
Jacked. Yeah.
Jacked to the fucking hilt here.
Yeah.
So I guess he played decent for the Manitowoc Chiefs here.
Okay.
This is from September 30th, 1974, from a newspaper up there. And they say Randy Woodfield snagged a 16-yard touchdown pass from the quarterback who hit 6 of 7 passing attempts for 163 yards. So he got a touchdown pass, at least. He's doing
That's
okay.
big, yeah.
But the team is going to cut him after one season.
Okay.
And it's weird because it doesn't make sense of why they would cut him, and they don't give any reason.
Really?
They don't put anything out in the press. Usually they'll be like, oh, we had too many safeties, so we cut this guy. Or it's just we don't want to talk about him, but we cut this running back because blah blah blah. So it got real suspicious.
Yeah.
And we don't find out until years later, when he's being investigated for much worse crimes, why he was cut by the Green Bay Packers completely. Why they wanted it there. They wouldn't comment on it, but and like I said at the time, the Green Bay police departments did not want to release the records. But later on, when detectives are investigating him for multiple murders, then the detectives in Green Bay will give up the files.
What the fuck?
And it turns out one Wisconsin detective comments to Ann Rule off the record for her book here, quote, he couldn't keep the thing in his pants.
Okay.
That's what fucking happened. There was multiple, they said 10 to 20 incidents of indecent exposure around wherever he was, basically.
Is that right?
That's why. Basically, he
10
got
to 20. That's a big window.
That's a big one. Well, he got picked up at some point, and the detectives, rather than making it public, went to the Packers and told them about it because it's Green Bay, and it's a small town, Green Bay. They own that town.
Everything is about that team.
Yeah.
Everything.
Their whole identity is that team.
Yeah.
Without them, they're just some small town in Wisconsin no one gives a shit about. And half the people that live there don't live there anymore, probably.
Most people don't even know, even though the Green Bay Packers are giant, big deal around this whole country, most people couldn't point that shit out on a map of Wisconsin. No
they
way.
have no idea. No goddamn clue. So, yeah, they basically went to the Packers and said, one of your guys just showing his dick everywhere around town, and the Packers just quietly sent him back to Portland. Wow. Get him out of here. But again, brushed it under the rug.
Didn't say anything to anybody else.
Don't want to embarrass the Packers.
Yeah.
Move him on out of here. So he keeps getting just shuffled and moved, and nothing ends up happening to him. So he goes back to Portland, doesn't go back to school, even though he's within 3 semesters of a college degree. Okay. He's like, what's the point? I just came to play football. And so he ends up going to the electronics firm he worked in before, and he works there. He works part-time tending bar as well, dating tons of women.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
He's got like a 70s porn stash, and he's all jacked up and muscled, tending bar. I mean,
the neck on this motherfucker's crazy.
He is slaying fucking poon all over the Northwest.
His neck is ear to ear. You can see
big,
the
thick
neck on the sides of his ears.
Yes. But at this point he wasn't, but that he took steroids, by the way, during this era. For the Packers, before he went to Portland, he took steroids.
Very impressive.
Or before he went to the Packers, he's like, I got to jack myself up. I'm going to play in the NFL here.
Football.
Yeah. So, he does that. He shares a 2-bedroom apartment with his friend, who is a graduate of the university. He's dating some women. His friend that he's roommates with was an assistant professor at Reed College in Portland.
Yep.
He hangs out with people from high school a lot. He is Mr. Glory Days. Like,
oh boy,
I think Bruce Springsteen was like just looking at Randall Woodfield when he called
relive
this.
Relive it, boy, relive it.
He goes back there. That's all he ever talks about. All the old glory days of football during high school, which is really sad for a 25-year-old at this point. He should be moving on. He said that he got cut from the Packers for, quote, flinching on the line.
Oh.
I don't know if that meant he got called for false start or because he was afraid to get hit on the line by the cornerback on a bump and run situation.
That too. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one that was, which it is, but But he said that he was going to show everybody the films of him playing on the Packers because Coach Devine said he'd send me all the films. But he doesn't. He never sends him shit.
He doesn't want anything to do with you.
No, he doesn't want anything. So in 1975, fresh off of this, he just gets home to Portland. He starts committing a series of holdups at convenience stores and gas stations and doing all kinds of shit like that. He also is, during this time, several Portland women are accosted by a knife-wielding man who forces them to perform oral sex on him and then robs them of their purse afterwards.
At a knife point.
At knife point. So
Jesus.
It's interesting, too. The ones that, and the convenience stores he robs, too, he's always targeting female clerks.
Right.
And he's always going to want to sexually assault them as well.
Yeah. Somebody's got a superiority complex.
Oh, good God. And if he goes in and there's a guy, sure, he can rob him, but he doesn't want a blowjob. He doesn't want this guy's mustache tickling his fucking nutsack here.
Yeah,
so, he's like, I might as well get a blowjob out of this too, which is a really disgusting person.
I'm more fascinated that he thinks he's better than so many people, except for those thousands that play in the NFL.
Thousands that play in the NFL and millions who don't show their dick to every strange woman that are around. So that's around. He's really, I think that's got to come from his parents, though, propping him up, telling him how great he is. And he's going to be, they're telling him he's going to be the president and shit. Like he's.
Yeah, and telling him he's the best boy on the planet because it's all girls in the house. So,
and he really got way too high of a opinion of himself. Mm-hmm. So at this point in the early 1975, several women, like I said, accosted at knife point by a man who was prowling Dunaway Park at Southwest Barber Boulevard and Sheridan in Portland. What the guy would do is he would expose himself, then force them to go to have fucking blow him to a finish, too. This isn't just...
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's in for the whole shebang
We're
here.
in for the long haul.
Yeah. He is going for results.
You'll know when I'm done.
Yeah, he's going for results here.
Dang.
After he did that, he would steal their purses. He's described as big and dark by the victims. Dark hair, dark eyes, that sort of thing. Not black.
Not his penis.
No. A few of them said that he was young and good-looking, even.
Okay.
He would sneak up behind them, but do it so quietly that they didn't even notice he was there till he had a knife to their throat, basically. Okay. So the cops staked out the park, and they did it with all male police officers, and they didn't find anything. Nobody did anything, so they figured out they needed a decoy, a woman cop to go out there and decoy. So they got this one woman, policewoman Annette Jolin. She volunteered and should just walk around the park and go into the dark areas of the park and shit while the backup team watched from, the side and trees and from binoculars.
Literally fishing.
Yeah, literally fishing.
She is baked.
Like a sitcom trope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you how to make your wireless bill much less with Mint Mobile.
MintMobile.com?
Yeah, that's right. You know it. MintMobile.com. You're going to have epic summer plans. You're going to go places. You're going to go maybe on a little trip, a little 3-day weekend, some beach action, a little bit of pool stuff. That sounds great. Don't let your wireless bill hold you back.
No.
That too much. It's going to be a crazy, big, disgusting wireless bill that's going to totally ruin your time here. So don't do that. You can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month. Right. Say goodbye to these overpriced, ridiculous plans that you never know how much they're going to be, and they're being raised all the time. All the plans with Mint Mobile come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone. With the Mint Mobile plan, you can bring your phone number, all your contacts, nothing inconvenience there. So ditch the overpriced and get 3 months of unlimited service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. We have made the switch. The service is great, and the bill is even better. We love it.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor and switch to Mint Mobile this year. Skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/crimeinsports. That's mintmobile.com/crimeinsports. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Now back to the show.
So they gave her $8 bills with the serial numbers recorded in case she gets robbed, this guy, whatever.
Yeah.
So she would just walk through. Nothing happened for a while. She did it for a few nights and then a few days. Then this is middle of the day, shortly after noon.
Yeah.
On March 5th, 1975, she's walking around and she's in like a dark area with fir trees around her.
Yeah.
And she realizes that there's somebody around her. She
Straight
can feel
up high noon.
High noon, this dude is out here.
Oh,
but in
boy.
a shadowy area. So this is when people feel safe, though. This is for him, they're on guard at 11 o'clock at night. Everybody is.
Wild. Yeah.
At noon, no one's on guard, which is
got those,
the sickest
the
way
guard
to
is
do
down.
it. So this cop kept her movement slow. She wanted to look like a normal person, not somebody who had any kind of feelings up.
Yeah.
Nothing was tripped. So anyway, they shortly before this, police officers saw a Pontiac GTO pull into a plaza and park. The driver was a tall male and walked into the park and started up a trail.
We got a year on that thing?
No, we do not.
Damn,
no.
that's a cool car.
That's a cool car. It's sad.
It could be cool, or it could be an entire
It could be
piece
really
of
lame.
shit.
Yeah, it could be really a piece of shit. So she hears somebody coming up behind her.
Yeah.
And she half turns and feels a knife blade up against her neck.
Right.
So she has a signal that she can give. I don't know if it's a button or something, some kind of signal to signal at all the guys in case they couldn't see her, all the other cops. So she does. She hands over $8. The guy demands money. A knife to her throat, demands money. She gives him $8. And then he reaches out and starts feeling up her tits.
Oh, boy.
Reaches out, feels her up, and then turns around and runs away back down the trail.
Just jiggle some titty and runs?
Jiggle some titty and run. It's high noon, so not enough time for a blowjob at this point.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's disturbing. So as he runs out of the trail thinking he made it out clear, there's like 6 cops waiting for him when he gets out of the trail. And they're like, hi, asshole, turn around.
Hi, titty jiggler, get over
Give
here.
us your knife, you stupid idiot. Yeah, turn around, let's go. Nice mustache. So they said that he was so surprised, he just gave right up because he was just, they shocked him, didn't realize it.
He thought he was getting away scot-free again.
Yep. They said, what's your name? And he said, Randall Woodfield. I go to Portland State U, which he doesn't.
No, you don't.
No, he doesn't at all. So there, in the paper, it says park robbery suspect held. And they're saying he told the police he's a student, but that hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But they're holding him on charges of armed robbery.
Okay.
I don't know if titty jiggling is a chargeable crime, but it should be. It's definitely sexual assault
I think it's
of some
assault.
kind.
Yeah.
But they don't
Pretty sure
charge him
it's
with that, though.
Really?
No, it's weird. And they also don't charge him with the sexual attacks as well.
Oh.
Because they don't really have evidence of it. They have him dead to rights on robbery, and that's what they want to try to deal with here.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, too, is when they charge him with all this shit, they offer him a deal to drop anything that has to do with sexual assaults, because there's women who can pick him out of a lineup.
Right. Yeah.
But they're gonna drop all of that. This is forcible sodomy, basically. Forcible oral sodomy was the charges against him.
Oh.
Sticking your dick in someone's mouth that doesn't want it there.
Yeah.
Pretty, fucking glib recitation of the charges, but still. But they say that he had a paring knife on him. That's what he used to threaten
That's a fascinating choice.
Small. He can wield it easy, I guess. He also, arresting officers confiscated a gun that he had on him as well.
Oh.
So he had a gun, but it was a starter pistol. It wasn't even a real gun. It was just to scare people, apparently. So they charge him first with first-degree robbery. He enters a plea of guilty to a reduced charge of second-degree robbery.
Okay.
They drop the oral sodomy charges. And they say that they need to send him to the diagnostic center of the Oregon State Department of Human Resources so he could discuss his little problem with a state psychologist to see where the fuck they're going to put this guy.
What can we do with you?
Now, he told the psychologist, he admits it. He's, quote, totally guilty of the crime against the woman he got busted for.
Admits it.
Admits it. Well, he can't not admit it. Like 8 cops watched him do it. Right. I mean, you did it. So he knows when he's busted. And when he's busted, he says he's busted because that makes him look like, oh, he can be reformed. Yeah. He admitted what he did wrong and he's ready to fix it.
He has remorse about this. He can't believe he did it. He's ashamed.
If you sit here, he knows if he sits here in front of a psychologist and tells them, I didn't do anything when 8 cops watched him do it, he's getting a very bad report. Yeah.
He's never going to stop talking to this person.
Never. So he also told this psychologist that he was very sorry and deeply hurt that he caused so many problems for so many people.
Deeply hurt.
Deeply hurt. He was embarrassed. And he said he's honestly kind of relieved to have been caught.
Thank God. You guys, I was doing this so much.
I couldn't control myself, and it wasn't fair. Guys,
that's all I thought about.
My dick has a tan. Do you understand? Like, that's how often it's out. It's tanner than my face.
There's
really
no
weird.
Discernible line between my penis and my fucking chest.
It's weird. Balls, bright white. Dick,
tan as fuck.
Tan like I've been on the beaches of Maui for the last 6 months.
Like
nude
that
sunbathing.
George, whatever the fuck from Love Boat.
George Hamilton.
That's him.
I got me and my George Hamilton penis. A Love Boat reference? That's not dated, Jimmy. That's only, 50 years ago? What are we talking about here?
So dated, I couldn't remember his last name.
Oh, man. And I didn't even know him I only knew him because he was in shit, like, later on as like a caricature
of
this guy. Yeah, him with his weird skin. Yeah. He was in 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, I remember, with Joe Pesci. He's married to Diane, what's her name?
He was in a million movies later on that were like, that was oh my God, it's George Hamilton. Harrison. Yeah. What is it? Hamilton?
Harrison is the Beatle. Yeah, Harrison's the Beatle. Yeah. And also, you should know George Hamilton because he played Evil fucking Knievel in that movie and had a gun held to his head while he read a script by Evil Knievel. So we went over that. Wow, this serendipitous crime in sports isn't it? He said that he thinks that his problem is so bad it might even require hospitalization, he says. I mean, I don't know if I can handle this on my own.
Is that hospitalization? I mean, that's psychological hospital for sure, right?
Well, yeah, that's what he means. But what he's saying is, I shouldn't go to prison. I'm sick.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to get at.
If I'd go in there, I'll just show my dick a lot.
I'll just show it to everybody all the time. He's actually mad about that, which you'll find out later, which is pretty funny. Yeah, he's mad that there's female prison guards, put it that way, and then we'll get into it later.
Oh, what a tease.
Yep. So he goes, they're walking around cock gazing me all the time and fucking, I'm in here for showing them my cock. This is ridiculous. So he should be thrilled.
Yeah, this should be the best day of your life or days.
This is great.
Yeah.
So he said that he told the psychologist that his life had completely collapsed a couple years earlier because of his, quote, sexual problems when he got arrested for indecent exposure at first. He said that he discovered in college that he couldn't cope with his sexuality and that he felt he had very much bad luck as well.
Such bad luck.
Terrible. He said a girlfriend of his dumped him. He had his car stolen. He withdrew from college. He said he met 2 religious friends who introduced him to the Christian faith. He got into that. But he blamed his current troubles on his own inability to follow his Christian faith. He goes, if I would just follow the faith, I wouldn't be in this situation. But he said these sexual impulses, it's borderline obsessive and they're out of control. I can't control them. I need help, Doc. Help me.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Borderline obsessive.
Borderline. Yeah, he says that he's not sure why he can't control himself. He says he doesn't take drugs. Doesn't drink a lot or anything like that. He's a Christian, so he doesn't drink, I'm a Christian. I can't drink. You want to see my dick? I'll shove it in your mouth while I hold a knife to your throat. But, I'm a Christian.
Like it or not. Yeah.
I'm a Christian. Put that bottle away. Wow. Talk about picking and choosing. That is
truly,
interesting. So he said that he took steroids to help build up his muscles, and he thought that might be the problem.
Oh, steroids caused me to want to show this thing to folks.
It's magnifying his sexual urges, which steroids do make you exceedingly aggressive and full of testosterone,
But
I
aggressive?
I don't hear a lot about Jose Canseco showing his cock to women. You know what I mean? No. But I mean, sexually aggressive. Yeah, I've heard that. Absolutely. That they'll, after a while, they'll kind of make around. They make you less sexually aggressive because they shrink your balls. But in the beginning, I hear that they will make you, because you're just pumping yourself, especially back then. It wasn't like some designer mix or HGH. Right. You're just shoving testosterone into your veins. Yeah.
And it's not human testosterone, right? It's all kinds of different
Who the fuck knows back then what they were using?
And bull and horse and stuff like that.
Back then, they were probably using fucking, rhinoceros testosterone. We have no idea what they were doing. So
they're just taking it out of nuts and shoving it in you.
That's it. So he tells the psychiatrist that his only leisure activities are listening to music and playing the accordion.
Okay.
Which is a weird skill for a rapist to have.
It's just a fascinating instrument to choose.
Now, he could be the ultimate nightmare. Imagine a guy who shows up, robs you, rapes you, then forces you to listen to a fucking accordion concerto. Imagine that.
If there's any instrument that goes with forced Peter peeking, it's certainly the accordion.
It's that or the bagpipes.
Yeah.
I think the bagpipe, because accordion's too cheery after you just, like, if you rape someone, you can't be like, you need, like, funeral dirges. That's what you need.
A guitar could do, if it's a synthesizer,
you could do both.
You could change the sounds.
That's true. You could do both.
Make it real goofy.
Nobody wants to hear like polka music after they've been violated. That's horrifying. He said also he liked sports and he liked reading religious literature. Yikes.
Really?
Yeah. He said that he tried to curtail his dating activity because he thought removing himself from sexual opportunity might contain him. But he doesn't rape the girls he dates, so that doesn't make sense.
Right. He's
nice to them and then goes out and puts a knife to a stranger's throat.
Yeah.
He said he has nothing financially. At this point, he had $57.50 in his bank account when he was arrested, and he had to turn that over to his attorney. Imagine you're an attorney getting $57.50 from this guy. He owed almost $3,000 to the phone company's credit union for a school loan, and he owed his parents a few $100 for traveling money to Green Bay.
Okay.
So the psychologist noted that he talked in a soft and well-modulated speaking voice and tone.
Proper modulation, yeah.
That shows sanity.
Yeah.
People who are all over the place and have inappropriate things like that is, So they said, though, he seemed depressed. And he said that he'd rather go to jail forever or even be killed if it would mean that he wouldn't continue to sexually prowl around and be a creep. He said he wants treatment. That's all he wants. Even though obviously
to sacrifice myself.
Yeah, he goes, I just don't want to be like this. I'm a menace to society. Here, he said that he only robbed women because he needed money and had been too proud to borrow money from his family. But all the robberies put together got him less than $25.
Less than what?
$25. All of his park robberies.
So you're willing to take a chance at going to jail over $25 rather than, hey, Ma, can I have some gas money?
That's what he's saying.
That doesn't make any sense.
It is never about the money.
No.
The money, I think he robbed the women to make himself feel more normal. Because that's normal. Robbing for money is a normal thing to do. Forcing a woman to suck your dick at knife point is not normal.
It's not normal, yeah. And perhaps he's doing it to have a disgusting reason to do this.
Whatever
you know
it
what
is.
I mean? Something that somebody might buy and be like, okay, that makes sense.
And
Maybe
I think
he's just doing it for that. Because
it's also convenience of it.
Yeah.
Like, might as well get a few bucks. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think his motivation for going up to these women was never about money.
No.
It was about, I want to show you my dick and I want to feel up your tits because he loves big tits, if we remember as well.
Yeah. You can't lie.
I mean, he can't. He was given an intelligence test, and based on his social acumen, they expected him to have a high IQ. And he does not have a high IQ.
Really?
His IQ is 100.
Very average, yeah?
Very average, yeah. So they were like, interesting, because the psychologist notes if that's accurate, if he didn't tank the test on purpose or something, which he would have no reason to do.
Sure.
Then they said he would have had a hard time in college, probably. unless he worked real hard, which he's not a hard worker when it comes to schoolwork, so that's tough. And also, it would have been difficult for him to, I mean, obviously you can do great, have 100 IQ. It's average. A lot of people have 100 IQ, do great, but it would have been very difficult to meet the grandiose shit that his parents had laid out for him. Yeah. You know, there's not a lot of presidents that had 100 IQ probably. You need to have a little bit more than that to be able to do shit. And I think that's what they're saying basically. Yeah. So I could be completely wrong on that. That's just what the psychologist is saying. So don't fucking at me, at some guy from 1974. What do you want from me? Go back to 75 and talk to this guy. So they said that some aspects of his personality that alarmed the psychologist was his detachment from his crimes and the fact that he used a knife, which is very personal, and that he actually touched his victims. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most robbers don't want to touch the victim. They want to hold the knife, you give me the money, and I get the fuck away from you as quickly as possible. Whereas this guy got like more personal as the, you know, as the confrontations, as they progressed. So they said that in itself separated him from a typical dick shower, basically.
Yeah.
A typical exposer wants to show you their dick. They get sexual charge from that, and then they go jerk off somewhere.
Okay.
Whereas this guy is like, here's my dick, now touch it, which is that's a big progression.
Taste it. Yeah.
Touch it, taste it, fucking feel it, everything. Yeah. So it's a little bit odd. And they said that his fanatic preoccupation with religion is a bit of a danger sign for the guy too, that he said. This is, when you add all these things into a personality, you can get a real fervent nutcase, basically.
Sure.
The final evaluation from the psychologist said, it would be my opinion that Mr. Woodfield's problem is so severe as to be a very serious threat to the community. And although treating him as an outpatient might actually present him with a greater opportunity to be treated, I think this would present too great a risk to the community. For the safety of the community, he needs to be in an institutional setting. However, chances of being successfully treated in such a setting are rather dim. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it. I mean, that's it. They said if you keep him free, you could probably treat him, but if you but he's too dangerous, you lock him up, treatment probably won't work, but at least he'll be off the street. Yeah. So you pick what you want. And this is, by the way, dangerous just meaning knife point blowjobs, not murdering people, which that's horrifying. Don't get me wrong, but it's terrible. It's better than murder. So on June 10th, 1975, he is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 10 years in the Oregon State Penitentiary for armed robbery.
Okay. 10 years old, that'll certainly...
That's something.
That's a good one, yeah.
Judge gave Jimmie and me 10 years like he was giving away candy. Yeah. That's a good fella's line there. So, and the judge said that he actually was upset that the sexual offenses had been dropped here. Okay. So he's getting a bigger sentence than he would have got if they didn't have all the sexual stuff attached to it. So he said, so Randy, and also the judge said that you probably belong in the program for sexually dangerous offenders in the state psychiatric hospital. Yeah. Probably where you belong, but I'm sending you to prison instead.
Okay.
Where you'll get no help whatsoever. And I'm sure when we release you, you'll be all ready to just integrate into society, all fixed up. So, think about this. Last year, he's on the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Now this July, he is going to prison.
That's fast. That's
for 10 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They said he was a dick in prison. He got a lot of disciplinary tickets his first few months. He doesn't believe in the authority of the guards really over him. They're beneath him, obviously. He doesn't believe that he deserves to be in jail. And he's not going to obey the fucking rules because of it. Okay. I shouldn't even be here. What are you talking about? I was on the Packers. Leave me alone. It's literally his attitude.
Yeah.
They all said he had a bad attitude. It was on a bunch of reports about him. He really is pissed off that female guards work here. Yeah. Because at the time, male guards weren't allowed to work in the female prison, but female guards were allowed to work in the male prison.
Well, what the fuck is that about?
That pissed him off. He said that it was really annoying when they had free access to shower rooms and toilet facilities where he is. He said, I was in there for being an exhibitionist, and here's this female guard watching me take a piss. It was ironic, and it made me angry.
It is ironic, but
that is ironic and very silly.
It's very funny to me.
It's fucking
because you
ridiculous.
Don't want this.
He's like,
that's the fun part.
You're the only woman I don't want to show my dick to. Leave me alone.
Now you know how it feels, man.
Damn it, son of a bitch. So he did group therapy sessions here, and a nurse that ran the group session asked the group to share their sexual fantasies with her. You want to hear? Imagine having a round table of imprisoned sex offenders and telling them, tell me your sexual fantasies. Imagine the creepy, weird shit you're going to hear. Wow.
They have to do this. I do know that when they sex offend, even when they're out after they've served their time, they have to talk about it, and they can't like hem-haw around it. They have to say the words. They have to say what they did, and they hate it.
They have to say what they want.
Sex offenders hate it.
Yeah. Well, Randy wasn't a fan.
No, I can't imagine.
Randy looked back at her and said, you share your sexual fantasies with us, and then I might share mine with you.
Well, Randy,
she
you
wrote
just
him
got
up.
2 extra sessions added to this. So
she wrote him up. He got a disciplinary ticket out of it. So
you're going to be here 4 more weeks. Now try again, Randy.
And imagine being some female nurse in this setting with a bunch of sex offenders, and one of them stares back at you. It's like, tell me your sexual fantasies. You'd be shitting your pants at that point.
They do it all the time.
He grew a beard to annoy apparently they didn't like, the prison administration didn't like when the prisoners had beards, but he did it anyway for that. He also had high-top basketball shoes brought into him.
Oh?
Okay. He had high-top basketball shoes because he said his knees were, a little rough after football, and his ankles are starting to be shitty too, so he needs the high-top support. He had to smuggle those in. Somebody smuggled them in for him.
Really?
But he's wearing them all the time. He got cited because he got a ticket because of his shoes in prison, and he said, you get dope smuggled in all the time, so why get bent out of shape over a pair of basketball shoes? What are you doing?
I mean, because the dope's being done behind the scenes. You're just flagrantly rubbing this in our face. Yeah.
Just walking around with your big tongues hanging out. I see it happen.
Nobody's walking around doing blow off that crook between their index and their thumb.
No. So he starts to acclimate a little bit by the next year. Yeah. He's not sentenced as like a sex offender. No. So he doesn't have that kind of hanging over his head. He's just an armed robber, which is that's
positive.
In prison, that's a perfectly legitimate, career path that you were on that no one is going to be upset with you for. Oh, armed robbery? That's not bad. Oh, yeah, me too. So that helps him out a lot. He makes some friends in there. But he also continues to constantly write people letters on the outside, too, and getting letters back. And he works in the dining room and kitchen, gets paid a whopping 50 cents a day.
There you go. Day.
A day.
Not hour.
Day. Imagine when the Packers game is on, how angry this guy is.
Ooh. What is that, an hour? That's like 8 cents, right?
Oh, that's nothing.
Less than 9.
Fuck. He took college extension courses here. Mm-hmm. He got A's and B's in typing, accounting, computer programming, economics, and human sexuality.
They shouldn't allow him to take that, right?
Right? Just getting more info to be creepy with.
Yeah, even a medical terminology and
I don't want him having access to that.
No, I don't want him to have medical pictures of penises and vaginas.
I was going to say he's going to jerk off to
Absolutely.
If he sees fallopian tubes, he's whacking
Forget it.
Like that's all he needs.
That's
it's not even.
It goes. Oh,
it's where it's going to end up. So he did involve himself in group therapy. Run by a reverend. He joined the Masters Men's Bible Club and the Freedom in Christ group, as well as a Bible study group that met in the yard when the weather was nice.
Yeah.
So, real weird. He had a lot of people visiting him, too. His grandmother, his sisters, his parents, 3 of his friends, and women, 2 different women listed only as, quote, Christian girls. Don't know what that means.
They come to Bible study.
Wow. He played basketball.
Penis, the Bible.
We study it.
Yeah.
Every week.
They do, not me.
So I study it too, but only so I could extol its virtues to the rest of the world. So he's lifting weights, running track. He gets jacked up in prison too. I mean, he does.
Yeah.
He's used to lifting weights and athletics, so it's all he does. He gets huge in prison. Sure. He's all sorts of jacked up. He considered himself a higher class prisoner. Uh-huh. And the fact that he was actually on the Green Bay Packers, even for a moment. Yeah. Prison is a sea of losers, essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't mean whatever, losers in life is what I'm saying. None of these
everything, usually.
Yeah. In a state prison, most of these people are not successful and have never had a modicum of success. So for someone to have even been handed a Green Bay Packers helmet for 5 minutes is well above what most of the people in here have had going on. So
They sent a limo for me, guys.
Yeah. I didn't take it, but it was there.
Yeah.
So for him, he's a big jacked up guy who was, on the Packers. So the inmates treat him well. Nobody fucks with him or anything like that. He found the address of, remember that 15-year-old girl he hung out with a while back and made out with, but she didn't want to have sex with, so he said fine. Tracy Connors. He found her and writes letters to her. She's married, by the way, at this point.
Oh, boy.
She said, I was married when I heard from him. It must have been 76 or 77. His letters were kind of off the wall. He wanted me to sell some wallets he was making in prison so he'd have some spending money. He never told me why he was in prison, and I never asked him about it. How?
Wait, really?
How?
That's like the old trope. You ask that when somebody says I'm in prison,
but you get out.
Even Pee-wee asked a dude what he did.
Yeah. Which actually is you never do that in prison.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, but they do it. It's
on the outside, though, you go, why were you in prison? That's just what a weird conversation.
Folks. Yeah.
To be like, so what you been up to? I was just in prison. So how's your mom? No. You skipped a couple of questions.
Yeah.
You skipped a couple of questions there. Let's find out why, for how long. Let's get a lot of these things going on here. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Factor.
Oh, factormeals.com.
That's right. Delicious, delicious Factor meals. It's summer. It's beautiful out. The sun is shining. There's light. It's light laid out and all that. You know what you don't want to be?
What?
Stuck in your kitchen making food.
Yeah.
No, you want to get out. Plus, it's hot in there. You don't want that. You don't want to deal with the oven being on. That's where Factor comes in. Factor's chefs-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. This is perfect. Factor meals arrive fresh, ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over the summer and anytime, really.
Yeah.
They have 45 weekly menu options. You pick gourmet meals that fit your summer goals, everything you want. That you can choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, they have a ton of them on there. Factor powers your day, sun up to sundown, nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks and desserts. That's what I'm talking about. Factor has you covered all day long. Enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. I like these Factor meals. I know you like eating them with your daughter, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like good before the volleyball games. Yeah.
I got to have something nutritious in her, too. And they got good summer wellness things like the sun-dried tomato chicken or whatever. It's terrific.
It's so good. So get started at factormeals.com/CrimeInSports50off. Okay, and use the code CrimeInSports50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code CrimeInSports50off at factormeals.com/CrimeInSports50off for 50% off plus free shipping. factormeals.com/CrimeInSports50off.
Now back to the show.
So she said that, she didn't want to turn her back on him just because he was in prison. She wrote him letters back and all that kind of thing. She couldn't really sell his wallet. She didn't do too well with that, but she kept writing letters. Yeah. She said he sent her a picture of himself and a pretty girl, and together, here's a picture of us. Please send this back to me. Yeah. And he said that he was engaged to that girl, but they'd broken up. So he's obsessed with that one still.
Yeah.
So he got the picture back, and she sent him a picture of her, which I'm sure he whacked off to 100 times.
Sure. Yeah. Could you take the clothes off and take a new picture?
Yeah, one with less clothes.
Yeah.
How big are your tits? Let me ask you that.
More tits, less clothes.
Yeah, but she said it was purely platonic. He didn't try to get weird or anything like that. He's always doing letter writing, as we talk about, just she didn't want him to feel abandoned, basically.
Prolific writer.
Yeah, oh yeah. So he, this is really weird. he thinks about how he was with the women, okay? Yeah. He told a prison psychologist that it might be his ex-girlfriend's fault that he does all this.
Is that right?
Hey, I was thinking about it, about how to take responsibility for my actions. Yeah, and I thought it's probably this chick's fault is probably what it is.
Not my fault at all.
I thought it's my fault at first, but then I'm like, no, it's her fault.
Me? Yeah.
No, it's the children who are wrong. That's the
less likely.
Less likely. So he said that I wanted to get back at a girl for something because I was rejected by her. I think that's what it was. Okay. He thought that his animosity toward this woman had generalized until he just felt he hated all women. All women are her, basically. Yeah. They asked him if he felt inadequate around females, and he said, hell no. I'm attractive to women. He said, that's bull. I said, no, I'm attractive. I can maintain a good relationship. I'm a good guy. She was the fucked up one.
Okay.
So weird. He's so stuck. So they said the psychologist noted how flawed his insight into himself is, basically. Because first of all, the first dick showings happened well before the breakup with his girlfriend. So that happened before. So he was showing his dick earlier than that. So that's by years, by the way, 5-6 years. And they said that basically his vanity and his self-confidence has a weird mixture with this anger of rejection. Yeah. So they said he could be violent someday because of this.
Right.
He thinks that highly of himself that when he gets rejected, it's like, you must be a bad person because you don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
Right.
He didn't acknowledge any inadequacy as well of him in his own self, which is, that's kind of weird in psychology. And he told a prison psychologist in 1976 that he thought that he found a way to forestall any trouble once he gets out of prison, though. He said, what's going to help me is to be not get involved with any women physically.
Oh.
He said, I always felt guilty about sex. There's more to life than sex.
Okay, so he's healing or he's pandering.
He's got whatever like overbearing, old school fucking tropes that are around sex that I'm sure he was raised with his family, that sex is dirty and sex is whatever the fuck. And you mix that with, this other shit. It's just, he's got that. You mix that with him wanting to show his dick to people. It's just weird. It's just, the whole thing's weird. I don't know how to express this, though, but he says that he feels guilty. Then you mix that with religion, which is like the ultimate, repress your feelings sexually. And, there's a reason why pastors and priests fucking molest kids all the time.
That's what I was thinking.
They're getting into this to repress this, but at some point the pressure builds. It's steam, and at some point you're going to explode. You can't just, you can put a Christ lid on it, but there's no like Christ pellet you can put in there to dissipate the steam. That's the problem.
Right. The Christ lid goes on, but there's no
It's going to shake, and it's like a pressure cooker.
There's no clip that goes around that holds it in. Right.
It's going to pop every once in a while, and like a tea kettle's going to go off.
And that
if
bubble.
If you hear that sound, watch out. There's a dick behind it.
The bubble and the boil has pressure behind it, and the lid lifts, and then shit falls out.
Yeah, dicks and knives and rapes and all sorts of shit.
$25.
$25. And the psychologist said that's not really a path that you're realistically can follow.
Yeah.
Is to just not have any physical contact with a woman from now on. That's not going to work. You have a sex drive and it's flawed, and we need to fix that, not just ignore it. So he said that his new life goals were to help others.
Oh.
He said, I want to help others. I want to seek a woman for spiritual reasons.
Yeah.
And find a wife to settle down and raise a family with.
I want to find a wife for spiritual reasons, too, so that she can suck my soul right out of this thing.
Right out of it. That's what it is. So, he wants to find, because that'll do it. Mm-hmm.
Marriage.
A 3-bedroom in the...
Right. That stops my desire of wanting to just show my penis to strangers. The difference is she's not a stranger. That's going to get boring for a guy like that.
A 3-bedroom in the burbs, a couple of kids, and his fucking spiritual wife there, that'll repress everything.
He's just going to pop into the bathroom while she's in the shower, shake his dick at her, and he thinks that's going to solve his problems?
Well, he won't even want to shake his dick. She'll be asking him to shake his dick at her, and he'll be like, I don't do that anymore. Yeah. So
I'm reformed.
I'm reformed. Listen, he insisted, too, I am not a violent person.
Okay.
The psychologists in prison, though, recommended against his release anytime in the foreseeable future. But he figured out very early that if he wanted to get out, he better go with the program, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
He learned that what the psychologists wanted to hear in response to certain questions and everything.
Pandering. Yep.
He learned how to get through it and, do that. He told a prison psychologist that he had accepted his guilt, and he now realized he needs help. And he said, if I get out, the first thing I'm going to do is to seek psychiatric help. That's it. That's all. That's going to be my life.
Yep.
Fix myself. He said I had solid support from his family and even his former employers at the electronics companies willing to give him his job back.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, let's bring that guy back who showed his dick to a cop and felt up a cop's tits. That's perfect.
Yeah.
He said, I've come to the point where I'm beginning to accept myself and to stop being a phony. He said, I know I have a problem and I want to keep on top of it at all times. I've learned to accept rejection from others, especially females.
Right.
He's hitting every button that he needs to here.
Yep. Everything he needs to do to get out of this.
Yep. He said, I don't take it personally anymore. He said, it's taken me 27 years to grow up, but I'm making it now.
Oh.
I'm making it. He said, I have excellent family support. I used to be too ashamed to admit that I had a problem, but I found in Reverend Beach's group that other guys have problems too, and if they can overcome them, so can I.
Okay.
Wow. He said, I'm not the same immature fellow that I used to be. I used to just want to play football and have fun. But now I know that work is important. I've got to stop running and face myself for what I am. I have now got the courage and the confidence to meet my problems directly. I no longer feel the need to hide from them.
Okay.
That's his quote, which is exactly what you have to tell a prison psychologist.
Yep.
So he convinced the psychologist that he turned everything around. This is the psychologist, one of the counselor's evaluations. Woodfield's attitude is excellent. This interviewer had met with him many times and has come to know Woodfield's sincere desire to change. Given Woodfield's good intelligence and abilities, his sound support from others in the community, his insights into himself, his remorse for what he's done, and his sincere desire to change, his long-term prognosis is favorable. He's a fitting candidate for work release, and it would be a good transitional move for him to make. It would help to bolster his self-confidence and give him time to readjust to being a free man again in society. He's not an escape risk, nor is he a violence risk.
Okay.
Whatever degree or license you had before you said that, they should have come back and violently ripped from your hands 5 years later. You're a fucking idiot and you're bad at this job.
Indeed, yeah. You've
bad.
Missed all warning signs.
Yep. He gets letters from family, friends, business associates, all saying what a good character he has and that he'll never get in trouble again, and we'll all keep an eye on him and make sure he's okay, and, he's got support. So after less than 4 years out of a 10-year sentence, 3 and change.
Oh, my God, he's out.
He is going to be paroled in 1979.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, rather than him try to figure out how can I fix myself and literally get out and go right into therapy and shit like that, he started figuring once he thought he was going to get paroled, he said, hey, we are months away from the 10-year anniversary of me graduating high school.
Oh.
There should be a 10-year reunion. I'd like to catch up. This is what he's concerned with.
Really?
High school friends.
Really show everybody what I've been up to for the last 10 years.
No shit. They're going to be really impressed. Let me tell you something. I'll just stop at Packers. And so, he does that. He obviously, it's hard for him to set up any kind of reunion because he's in jail. So he wrote a friend of his named Alex to suggest that Alex set up a reunion. Hey, I got an idea. I'd like to go to a reunion. Would you like to do a lot of work?
Yeah.
And Alex was married to one of Randy's old girlfriends. So they think that's why he went to Alex, because he thought he could kind of needle him a little bit because Alex felt bad about the girlfriend thing. So Alex contacts the class of 69, organizes a Big reunion for August 25th, 1979.
Okay.
So he is freed in July of 79. I think July 6th, 1979. He is given parole here. He is mainly because of favorable psychologist reports.
Really?
He's released as not a risk for violence.
Yeah.
He is given $86.35 by the state.
Okay.
To get out. And
that's his wages.
That's his wages. No, that's what he had. That's what he gets like as you're walking around money, like bus fare, and to get you away from the prison. Otherwise, guys would just sit on the curb outside. There's no, how the hell am I going to get out of here?
Yeah.
Bus fare and such. He also had $13.65 from his prison trust account.
Mm-hmm.
So got about $100. It's exactly $100. Yeah. 13, that's 99, 65, and 35. $100 even he's got. Okay. But he's got a job waiting for him, and he's psyched. By the way, the reunion lists him as head of the reunion committee.
Oh.
That's pretty fun on the program. They have the reunion. They have a picnic and volleyball game on the beach.
Yeah.
And all that kind of thing. He's got a big beard he shows up with. He shows up with a pretty girl with him.
Oh.
Some chick in a beard. All that kind of thing. He's not mad at his friend Mike Schaefer, who didn't write him in prison for the last few years. No one asked why he was in prison.
Not a word?
Not a word. And most of the people didn't even know he was in prison.
Wow.
A lot of them. He talked about playing with the Packers, but didn't really talk about, then I was in prison for the last 4 years. He told his friend and a couple of his close friends that he'd gone to prison for robbing some photomat booths, and that he got caught because cops set up surveillance teams to trap him at photomat booths. So, you know how that goes. He stayed with his parents while he's visiting for the reunion. Then he went back to Portland, where he was living with his sister Nancy for a while till he could get his shit together. Right. So he gets his job at Tektronix, and it pays him $600 a month plus overtime.
Tektronix, that's a good company.
Tektronix, yeah, which decent company, and that is not terrible money in the late 80s. It's not great. By the late 80s, it's starting to get lousy. But if you can work some overtime, and if you just got out of prison, it's great. It's better than 50 cents a day. Yeah, you could rise. And he became eligible to borrow from the company's credit union, so he took out a loan as well.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad. He's legit now. He's assigned to the Clackamas County Parole Office, and he has a female parole officer who he's not thrilled about, obviously, because he doesn't like really answering to women. But the parole officer thinks that he has a good chance to make it and stay free if he can just stay within his restrictions of his parole and be good here. Now, the supervisor acknowledges that Randy reports to his parole officer regularly at first. She said he was basically hostile to authority. Sure, he would come in and he would report, but he was kind of an ego macho type. He was evidently a football player, and he fancied himself to be a man's man.
Loves to show it off, yeah.
Yep, and he's moving around all the time, too. So that's another problem, that they can't really keep track of him. They never even know where the hell he's living.
And he's not telling anyone?
No, he'll end up telling them at his next hearing, but they never know like where he is from, or not hearing, but meeting to meeting. They don't know where the hell he is, but he never broke any rules that were serious enough to have any problem here. There was no incidents between him and the parole officer. He didn't try to feel up her tits or anything, which is good. The parole supervisor said a lot of these guys are hostile toward their parole officers, but there was nothing to show he had hostility toward his because she was a woman.
Okay.
He's always with a different girl. Everyone that sees him says he's never with the same girl twice. Just always with a different hot-ass girl, too. Always some smoking hot chick. In his very short time when he gets out of prison, he quickly accumulates like 250 phone numbers of women in his little black book. He's killing it. He quits his job at Tektronix.
Sure.
For bartending jobs. He probably makes more money.
Yeah, and it's
more of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle, too. Yeah. I mean, if you like meeting women and doing shit, it's not going to be on some electronics assembly line. So he really is happy, and he's handsome, and chicks like him, and he's doing well. He lets underage women in. He doesn't care.
Oh, God.
If you got some tits on you, you don't need an ID. Those are your tits there. Your right and your left ID, I see. Yeah. You look to be okay. So he wanted to, he also said that he wanted to make up for the 4 years of forced celibacy. So he was plowing away. Later on, he said, I screwed up. I was in too much of a hurry and I got herpes from one of them. What is too much of a hurry? I was fucking too fast is the problem. I was really, smoke was coming off of her.
And that's how you get herpes.
That's how you get herpes. If you got to do it real hard and fast, then you get herpes.
I wonder if he got
too much of a hurry.
Friction burn, or if he actually got herpes.
No, he got herpes. We know for a fact because he will then give that to his victims as well.
No.
Oh, he's real contagious too. That's the other thing.
No.
Yes. He gives them a reminder, a lifetime reminder of him. He gives them.
Oh my God.
He might as well that's like slashing someone's face or something. You're always going to see that scar.
Imagine.
You're always going to have this to deal with.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, man. So Tracy, the friend of his, who was that 15-year-old from back in the day, she saw him in September of 1980. She was in the hospital outside Portland, and she called Randy and asked him to come visit her.
Sure.
She said he came to the hospital on September 4th or 5th, and he brought me a kitten. At the hospital?
Yeah, evidently.
That's weird. He was the same old Randy. At least he seemed the same. He was working at a bar near the hospital, and he seemed quite happy. He told me that he was going to get into management where he worked. He was driving his mother's gold VW with a sunroof.
Sick.
Yeah. So she said that Randy seemed interested in what she was doing, and they talked about her life. And he told her that she said, "So what are you up to? You got any girlfriends or anything?" He said, "Well, I'm currently living with a 17-year-old named Lucy."
Jesus.
He's like 29.
Living with a
17-year-old. Yeah. She said, "Well, Lucy works as a cocktail waitress. She uses a fake ID that says she's 21, so she could do that." Okay. Well, Lucy is growing up way too fast here.
Slow it down, Luce.
Wow. He said the relationship with Lucy, quote, "I love her, she loves me, and we don't sleep with anyone else, but we each have other friends. The only thing that bothers me is that I come home from work ready to go to bed, and Lucy comes home later, and then all of her guy friends are out partying in the living room when I try to sleep."
Okay.
Yeah, well, she's 17, that's why.
That's what she does, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to go out and tell her it's your bedtime is the problem. She's a child. Right. So Tracy saw Randy once more September 7th, 1980, when she visited the bar where he worked. They talked for about an hour and a half, and then she got up to leave. She said, "I told him I was going to hitchhike home, and he got real upset. Yeah. He offered to pay for a taxi for me. He told me I didn't know what kind of people might be out there. People like me are out there."
Right. You better watch
He knows.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody will jump out and force you to give a blowjob. It's not good.
Dang it.
And he asked me what I would do if a crazy person got a hold of me. Finally, I took the bus home so he wouldn't worry. Okay. So Randy does a lot of different things. He's working at different bars. He's moving all around. Between July 79 and March 81, he is just like a whack-a-mole. You can't pin him down. And even the parole officer has a hard time keeping track of him. Really? He would doctor his employment application forms, so the 4-year gap left by the penitentiary didn't have to be explaining. He'd just pad everything out a little bit to make it work, which we've all done that. Not for prison reasons, just because we suck.
No, just because I didn't want to work for 6 months. And
or
I was
because
fucking 19.
That job I worked at, I really don't want this employer to contact them because I did not. That didn't end well. So I'm going to forget that I ever worked there.
I didn't put in a 2-week notice.
They
gave me a 10-minute notice.
Yeah. They gave me a right now notice and said, you need to go.
Get out.
You need to go immediately. So that's all he had to do. He didn't even by the way, he would subtract those years from his age. He would tell them he was younger. So those 4 years just didn't exist.
You can't do that.
That is some really, really
That's
egotistical,
nuts.
Wow. It's some vain shit. That's vanity.
Very weird.
Didn't like to admit that he was 30. He looked younger, and he said, I'll just pretend I'm younger. So fuck it. Woman to woman, job to job, apartment to apartment, everything. Basically, he likes women when they're overwhelmed and entranced by him.
Yeah.
But then after a few days and they get to know you and stuff, they become, whatever. Then he's not interested anymore.
Now they suck. Yeah.
He wants to be worshipped.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So he said that he's telling his friends he was felt like he was starved for sex after being in prison for so long.
Yeah.
So he at one point in July of 1979, this is just after he got out of prison. This is before the reunion and everything here.
Oh.
He followed two pretty young women down the I-5 freeway.
Oh.
Passed by them and then signaled until they stopped, basically, as they were driving. Rolled down their car window and asked him if he wanted to go swimming. This is how things were in the 70s. You could see attractive people and wave at them from a car, and they'd be like, you want to come hang out? We're going to a party right now. And you'd go, yeah. And then you just meet people like that. Imagine if you did that now.
No.
People would call the cops on you immediately. Yeah. He asked me to go to a party, and they'd be like, oh my God, he'd be in cuffs. Yeah. And it'd be rightfully so, because we know that's weird.
What are you going to do at that party? What do you mean? I was going to have drinks and be a partier.
Get on Tinder, you fucking weirdo. Yeah. That's what they'd be yelling at you from a car window. But back then, he said sure and then followed them to their apartment.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. So things went fine. He called one of the girls, a girl named Moira, 2 days later. By mid-August, they were living together.
Okay.
And then Moira ended up being upset to find out that, guess what she got? A present from Randall.
Oh, boy.
The old herpes, yep.
Oh, Jesus.
She got that. She forgave Randy because she thought, well, we'll be together forever anyway, so it doesn't matter. If we both have it, who cares? If we're together.
Really?
Yeah, who cares? But then in November, the relationship didn't go on any longer because they had a fight and Randy left her. So now she's stuck with nothing except for some occasional blistering. That's what she's got.
Damn it.
He called her for the next year and a half, and they maintained a friendship, too. He can't let anyone out of his web. Anyone who's in, he's got to keep them forever with this real weird system of letters. And, in the modern times, he would have been great because he could have kept thousands of plates spinning with social media.
Yeah, right.
This is through actual house landline phones and physical letters.
And mailboxes,
Mailboxes and people's address changing and shit like that. So, and people's phone numbers, when you would move, your phone number would change. That's the other thing people don't understand.
You rarely got to keep that.
Yeah, now you have a phone number forever. I've had the same phone number for 25 years. But
yeah, I'd still have the other number that I had, but never mind. When I got married, my ex-wife wanted it changed.
Oh, boy. That should have been a signal
upset.
right there.
I know.
That should have been, what am I doing right here?
What?
Why do I have to change my number so no one can get a hold of me?
That in demand? What are you talking about?
That is wild.
But she wanted it changed.
That is wild shit.
I did it. Why did I do that? I loved that.
I don't know.
It was a T, James. It was a T on the dot. I used to remember things by patterns. It was 330-8521. The 330 and then right up the middle and over. It was amazing.
Man.
And now it's gone.
When I was a teenager, my dad's house phone number was 8258, right in a straight line.
Awesome.
Bang, 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 bang. I was like, that's so great. That's such an easy fucking number to remember. I tell people, it's a straight line, 8258. And they'd be like, I can remember that. That's easy.
And now I've got this the number's so fuking confusing. Anytime I give it anywhere, they go, they repeat it back, and every time it's wrong, I go, no. And then I try again. It up. Jesus Christ.
Back then, it was hard to keep track of someone, basically, though. You really had to work to do that. Also, he gave her a photo of himself nude as a going away thing. You're going to want this for later, obviously, to remember my penis by. Called her for a while and kept doing that. After he quit his job at Tektronix, he worked at the Cheerful Tortoise Lounge for a while as a bartender. Sure. And they said, all the employees said they didn't understand. He's about 30 years old. There's all these women in there. The only girls he's fixated on are the 16 and 17-year-olds that he lets in, though.
He shouldn't be fixated.
That's why. Because he's stuck in high school.
Yeah.
He's stuck in high school. And at this age, he's still young enough where these high school girls look at him as an attractive like young man, not somebody like their dad's age or something, but like this. So they're looking at him with like worship. 5 years from now, they're going to be like, "What do you want, you old fart?" Unless they've had a horrible childhood where bad things happen to them.
Yeah, you're about to get the humble experience.
No shit, it's coming. So his coworkers liked him. They said he was a pretty nice guy, but they said all of his close friends are women. It's really weird.
Really?
One of the other bartenders described him as having an 18-year-old level of conversation. He was kind of a dumb blonde type, except he was a man.
Oh.
Which is all shit that works when you're young on young women, but then when you get older, women they figure out that they don't like certain guys, so they start figuring out how to ask you questions to feel like get your answers so they can know who you are. And if you don't up your maturity level of conversation to match that, they're not interested in you. That's a problem that you're going to have when you get older, and that's why he's stuck in high school, basically. One woman here, she met him on the street when he was riding a motorcycle. Just meeting women on the street. She thought he was attractive, but then later saw sides that troubled her. She said that he was obsessed with tits, just obsessed with them.
Samesies, man.
I mean, I was going to say, and your point is, and what? What are you going to tell me next? He likes a round ass? What are we talking about? Yeah.
Is he having to really be into vagina, too?
Yeah, like what else does he like? But also that so much so that it seemed like a kink to her. Like that's all he cared about was tits. But she said what broke them up was no communication at all. She said, quote, he just wasn't very smart.
No, he's a dummy.
There you go. Yep. Yeah. She explained, she said, I'm ashamed to think that I dated Randy at all. He wore thin pretty quickly. And that's what he's going to get with adult women, where he can mesmerize a 16-year-old a little bit easier.
That is huge to him. Yeah, that's why he's doing it, because just being in a car and behind the wheel and pressing a clutch, a 16-year-old might be impressed.
That you have a car.
Yeah. This guy's driving a stick. Wow.
And a job, and you dispense booze. Like, oh, boy, he's a big, mature guy, but
look at this man.
He's not.
Nope.
Randy was very upset when a bank teller broke up with him and told coworkers at the bar that he wanted revenge.
On her?
On her. But then after 2 days of constantly talking about it, he just stopped talking about it completely.
Finally, yeah.
But he had like this giant 2-day-long rage.
Wow. Yeah.
He basically, they said he wasn't fired from the Cheerful Tortoise, but it was a mutual parting of ways, basically.
The Cheerful Tortoise.
He went back to work, or he went to work at the Fawcett Tavern on Southwest Beaverton Hillsdale Highway in Beaverton after that. And there was an ad in the paper there, and it was March of 1980. He's hired as a relief bartender and assistant manager. Okay. He worked the night shift from 6 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. He made $235 a week plus tips, or $250 a week plus tips, which was good money to him. Yeah. There's plenty of women. He gets to be out late at night, which he likes too.
Right.
But they fire him by October.
Oh,
October 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. His boss said that he was soft-spoken and that he was simply unable to assert the authority that the job demanded. Because he is not good at confrontation. He's a child. That's the problem.
Baby. Yeah.
He's a man-child.
Emotionally immature, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to do that. They said he was big enough, but he didn't seem to have what it takes to get these shitty drunks out of the bar. Like even with bouncing, he couldn't do that well. He was too soft-spoken. Meanwhile, he's this giant jacked up guy. If he goes over there and goes, hey, you're fucking out, they're going to leave. But he doesn't have that, which is strange for a guy like him. It's almost like he's perpetually 16. It's really weird. And also they said he didn't command any respect from the younger employees as well.
Okay.
Within 2 weeks of him being fired, $3,000 was stolen from the Fawcett's cash register.
I wonder who did it.
The entry had not been forced, and Randy is the only other person other than the owners who had a key to the place.
And if they didn't do it, who did it?
It's a little bit, that's a little obvious. That's like Evel Knievel's thing.
Right, yeah.
You know, so
stealing from people.
Again, like leaving a calling card saying Evil was here or something.
Right.
So the tavern owners went to his home to confront him, and they found him finally after knocking and everything and looking for. He was hiding in the attic from them.
Okay.
He is not a ballsy guy.
Just sitting in the attic?
Sitting in the attic. This is why he didn't make the Packers. He's flinching on the line, always. He has no balls, this guy. It's all about,
babe.
Don't I look like this? Isn't that great? But there's no substance to it whatsoever. He's like a mirage or something. Like
He'd thrive today with social media.
He would do great with social media. He could be completely...
he'd crush
vapid.
On Tinder. Yeah,
he could be vapid. He could be not transparent. He could have a whole other facade and persona that no one would know anything else other than him. That's pretty interesting. He denies the theft, but he was very angry. He was accused of this.
Yeah.
He wrote a letter to his former employers also, and but later on admitted to one of his female friends that he actually did steal the money. So word got around about the thievery, and he couldn't find another bartending job.
Right.
Bar owners all know each other.
They talk to each other, yeah.
So he worked in jobs that weren't very good for him. He worked at Shakey's Pizza for a while.
Oh, really?
That's not good. Nobody wants to work there. He was a 7-Eleven clerk for a while.
Damn it.
No tips, no women, none of that shit. Oh. He got fired for the 7-Eleven job as well. Moves into his sister's house in Portland and then to a couple of rental houses, and just all of his letters have like 6 forwards on them. Yeah. It's really hard to pin this guy down. Then, oh boy, here we go. He sends pictures of himself to Playgirl magazine in 1979.
He thinks he can get in.
He is very, his body and everything, he's very desirable for what women, especially then. He's got a big mustache and all that shit. Okay. So these photos end up being published in an issue of the magazine.
Wow.
In 1980 as part of their Guy Next Door feature.
They have that?
They have the girl next door thing in some of those magazines. I remember they have a guy next door thing, a non-model, basically, a regular guy who sends his picture in. And so he does that, which is pretty amazing.
Very funny.
And he said he was awaiting a photo shoot in October of 1980 with Playgirl. They're going to do a photo shoot with him. Now, he's always sending nude pictures of himself to people, pictures of himself or pictures in the nude, or like we got from our listener, a picture of him in like bathing suit trunks, but nothing else. Yeah. And in a big pose like he's a wrestler. But he sent the one to Playgirl, and Playgirl had a, they liked him. And here was the response that he got from Playgirl. Congratulations. You have been selected for possible publication in Playgirl's Guy Next Door feature. Please return the enclosed model release and information sheet as soon as possible. Don't be discouraged if you do not hear from us right away. We reconsider all submissions each month. Really? Playgirl will notify you when we determine the issue for which you have been selected. Thank you for your time and patience. Playgirl looks forward to seeing more of you soon.
Oh, gross.
Oh, boy. So the letter comes to him, and he thought it was awesome. He couldn't wait. And he's like, yes, everyone, look at my penis. This is a way to show it to so many women at the same time.
I'm doing such big things.
Also, a lot of guys, but still, so many people are going to see my penis.
A lot of fellas that just want to suck it.
Totally. So by the spring of the 80, late spring, he's living with another woman named Lucy Grant. And this is the girl he was describing to Tracy when he visited her in the hospital. Sure. That he really likes her, the 17-year-old. Right. They signed a lease on June 10th, 1980 for a house in Lake Grove, Oregon, month-to-month rental. They said it's $300 a month they have to pay. Right. And this is the longest stretch living with a woman that ever works for him.
Really?
Yes. He's not like, see, Ted Bundy maintained a relationship and shit for a long time. Like, he is very bad at it because the women see right through him and they don't want him anymore. Yeah. So he does all of this. He said that, that he was sure Lucy was faithful for him, even though young men would come home in the middle of the night and all that kind of thing. He, though, said he was always looking for new girls. While he was living with Lucy, he met a 17-year-old named Julie Reitz at the Fawcett Tavern, and that was August of 80. And he let her into the bar. She was an underager there, and she thought he was cute and flirted with him and met him for lunch. And He told her that he'd been hurt by a lot of girls and just couldn't risk seeing her anymore because it was too painful, which was exactly what she wanted to hear because she's a teenager. She was like, oh, I'll fix you. I'll make it better.
I can do it.
Yep. And especially an older guy and all that makes me feel like an adult. So she went out with him and he got her drunk. She never really had hard liquor before and he gave her hard liquor.
Yeah.
And they went back to the townhouse where Julie lived with her mother.
Oh.
Her mother wasn't home, but one of Julie's girlfriends was here. So this girl that he just met. So basically he's with these two girls. Yeah. But the girls ended up sleeping together, and he had to sleep in Julie's mother's room. In the morning, he popped into the bedroom where they were wearing just some Speedos and crawled into bed with them. He fondled her a little bit, but when she told him to take off and get out of the bed and go away, he did.
Oh.
So she continued to be fascinated by him until she found out what he really was about here. She thought that she was, fixing this poor man who'd been hurt badly. Yeah. And then she ran into him in a bar, a place called Euphoria. And Randy was, of course, with a girl. Lucy was with him, the one he's living with, when Julie saw him. Mm-hmm. Julie became hysterical, screamed at him, called him an asshole for lying to her, and then she started to cry and ran out of the bar. It's almost like 17-year-olds shouldn't be frequenting bars every night. Weird.
And this feels good to him because now women are fighting over him.
That's what he loves it. Yeah. Oh, she thought she still thought about him after that. When she saw him again, she apologized for screaming at him.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She told a friend that she expected him to call her, saying that he'd worked out all the misunderstandings they'd had and all that, but he never did, so she felt terrible. So they just agreed to be friends. Randy breaks up with Lucy in the fall of 1980, but not because of Julie, because of other shit. Lucy never even found out about Julie.
Really?
But they think it was probably because Randy had enough of, the living room being full of 18-year-old men in the middle of the night.
That does sting a little.
That's kind of shitty, yeah. Lucy explained to him that she thought she should date other men. Randy was upset, and he said she was just like Sharon, just like the one who dumped me back in the day, who turned me into all this. Just like Moira, the chick I gave herpes to for just like all these women. The woman at the bank, they're awful, these women. They deserve everything.
There's too many of them.
Yeah, Lucy told her friends that she was so anxious to move out that she forgot to unplug the waterbed heater. So the waterbed melted, and Randy threatened to sue her.
She drained it and then left the hot on.
And then left it on, so it melted.
You're going to buy me a new mattress.
Yep. Lucy responded by telling Randy that she was going to bring him to court to demand her share of the rental deposit.
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
So, yeah. So he sent a very polite letter saying that she would get her money minus any utilities owed. Mm-hmm. And he told her that he'd gone to a lawyer over the matter.
Okay, I've already talked to a lawyer, so just so you know, I'm going to win.
Just going to win here, yeah. October 21st, 1980. Okay. Yeah. This is the Albany Democrat Herald. Not Albany, New York. I believe Albany, Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. They say police ask help in murder is the headline.
They ask help.
Portland police are offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of a killer of a Lebanon woman, the town, not the country. Sherry Lynn Ayers, 29, a Portland resident for the last 10 years, was found beaten and stabbed to death October 11th in the bedroom of her home.
Oh, my.
Portland Police Bureau spokesman said law officers have no suspects. They said that her body was found by a friend at 6:40 p.m., and on October 11th, and they estimate she was killed late October 10th or early in the 11th by a would-be burglar who apparently forced his way in through a window. Wow. They said they don't know for certain if anything was taken from the house. They don't know anything about that. They just know that she was employed by the Metropolitan Clinic and the Dwyer Medical Center as an X-ray technician. Okay. She's a member of the First Baptist Church, and that's all they know. So now this Ayers had known Randy Woodfield since second grade.
Really?
They've been friends since they were literally 7 years old.
Children.
They went to all the same schools together. And while he was in prison for 4 years, the two of them had corresponded. Sherry Lynn Ayers, and he had corresponded with letters while he was in prison.
Okay.
So the Ayers family, when asked, is there anybody she talked to, anybody that's, they're just trying to get, when someone's murdered and it's who knows, you got to get their whole life and basically make a fucking collage out of it. So her parents give Randy Woodfield's name to law enforcement. As somebody she interacted with all the time and knows. And they also know he was in prison and stuff, so they're suspicious of him. Yeah. He was questioned, but refused to take a polygraph test.
Really?
Which a lot of prisoners will not take a polygraph test because a lot of them are, you're not going to send me back.
Don't ask me questions about something. Yeah, right.
So they said, homicide detectives said they found his answers generally evasive and deceptive, but his blood type does not match semen found in the body. So no charges are filed against him. They did a blood test, and they were like, oh, shit, well, I guess it's not you.
Yeah.
Even though you seemed super guilty.
Incredibly, yeah.
So Sherry was with Randy in the class of 69 here. By the way, she was raped and murdered. This wasn't just a murder. This was slightly before midnight. Sherry had worked with Randy on the class reunion, by the way, that he went to after he got out of prison. Okay. She attended Oregon State University, then the University of Oregon Medical School, and she was working in Portland as an X-ray tech, which is a pretty good job. It's not bad. Portland police detectives investigating her murder said it was a really ugly homicide. She'd been bludgeoned on the head, then stabbed repeatedly in the neck.
Just destroyed.
Just absolutely eviscerated, man. Yeah. So the parents and this detective discovered that Randy Woodfield had visited her many times at her home here, and after he was paroled and given his prison record, that's when he was questioned about it. They said that his answers about his whereabouts during the time period were evasive and deceptive, and he wouldn't take a polygraph test, like we said. And they said there was very little physical evidence at the crime scene. There were secretions found in the vagina, but there was no pubic hairs detected either there. So they obtained his blood type from records at the state penitentiary, which is B negative, and the secretions had not come from a B negative secretor. So now this guy said, I don't know what it is. Blood type be damned. This guy's involved in this in some way.
For sure, yeah.
There's no way he'd be evasive and just be in the way. Guilty people act like this. What the fuck's going on? So, but they had to eliminate him as a suspect because even if they thought he did it, they have no physical evidence to tie it. As a matter of fact, they have evidence that would exonerate him in court. Sure, so not much you can do here. There was always the possibility that these secretions may have come from an earlier sex act with a voluntary sex act with a male. Yeah. They didn't know, but still, that's only a possibility at this time. In court, that would be deadly to a prosecution to have semen that doesn't match the guy that you're accusing of raping her. That's doesn't work. So he said I had to do that, had to dismiss him. So a couple more murders happen. Okay. Now, Randy here, he really is mad at Lucy.
How mad?
For dumping him. Yeah. Real mad. Really, really, really mad at her. He said that at this point, women are not to be trusted. He said all they do is pretend to love you, and then they betray you. They're awful people. Yeah. So one of his best friends, Tim Rossi, had the same thing happen to him. He went to bunch of different colleges for this assistant professorship here, and he had a steady woman that he kind of fucked up the relationship with, him moving around. So this woman had told Tim that she found somebody else. So Tim, his friend here, takes this breakup well. Like I said, was friends with her still, as Darcy Fix, his ex-girlfriend, and all of that. So Tim tells Randy that Darcy broke up with him when Randy visited him in Tacoma on October 11th, 1980. So Randy goes to visit the guy, and the guy goes, yeah. He's like, where's Darcy? And the guy's like, yeah, she broke up with me. Yeah. She found some other guy, and that's that. So, what are you going to do? We're still friends, not a big deal. Tim thought that Randy was way different than he used to be.
Really?
They were buddies and roommates at Portland State, but it is a completely different guy now. Like different at the time. Different Randy. He said he was pious and gentle and kind back in the day, and now he's a swinger. That's how he described him, a fucking swinger.
Yeah.
All he talks about is women and bars, and he's constantly combing his mustache and shit. Like,
what?
You can't, no, I mean I added the mustache part, but that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's every 15 minutes or so he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go use your blow dryer again. I gotta puff out my pubes," and he goes in there and really gets them nice.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of guy. He said that Randy was furious that Darcy broke up with him. Broke up with Tim, not even with Randy.
Oh.
Like furious. He said he was angrier than me.
How could that bitch do that?
Yeah. He said he acted.
Man. No, it's not fine.
No, that fucking bitch. He acted like Darcy left him. The guy was really weirded out by it. He's like, "Calm down, bro. I'm fine with it." So then on November 27th, 1980, Thanksgiving Day, Darcy Fix and her new boyfriend, Doug Altick, are found dead in Darcy's apartment.
Oh.
They had been shot execution style.
Murder-suicide.
Yeah, both in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Now, Tim learned about Darcy's death the day after the murder when Randy called to tell him about it.
Right.
Tim said he was shocked. He's like, "I saw Darcy and Doug. He visited this couple. They had just broken up a month ago.
Yeah.
She's with some other guy, and they're still friends enough to where he comes over and visits." I don't know. This Tim has some kind of some kind of nice guy or something here.
He just visited him.
Wow. He said, "I just saw them Tuesday before Thanksgiving and everything was fine."
Yeah.
So Tim talked, because obviously he's the ex-boyfriend who's been visiting them, so they're definitely going to have a chat with Tim.
Yeah.
And Tim asked, did Darcy have a chance to use her gun to protect herself? And they said, "What gun? We didn't find any gun." And Tim said, "Well, she had a small handgun when we lived together. Her father was a doctor and had given it to her to protect herself." And Tim said, "I actually saw the gun on November 25th, so I know she brought it to the new house."
Yeah.
He said it was lying on the floor next to her bed, which is where you keep firearms. That's the safest place for them.
Right on the floor.
Just on the floor so they could be kicked around. And
step on it like a Lego.
Yeah. You'd think a Lego hurts when you step on it. Try a .38 revolver. Boy,
wait till a 9mm shoots your pinky toe off.
That'll do it. So he said a silver gun with a white handle. It had a short barrel. I don't know too much about guns, so I couldn't tell you the caliber. But Darcy's father could tell them the caliber and said it was an old .32 chrome revolver, so old that it never had been registered. It was pre-registration of guns. Wow. That's how old it was. So it wouldn't be, nobody could identify it if it was found anyway, except to look at it, basically.
Yeah.
Now, the gun was missing from the apartment when the detectives inventory the contents, but nothing else is missing except for that gun. They said they turned the place upside down trying to find it, but it just wasn't there. Okay. So, interesting. So the missing gun will never resurface, by the way, and these two murders will never be solved.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. But I think we can, it seems pretty obvious what happened here.
Yeah.
Now, Moira, remember her? Here, the girl he met on the freeway who he gave herpes to?
Right.
Gave the never-ending gift of herpes to. She saw newspaper articles about Darcy's murder and called Randy to tell him that Darcy had been killed.
Yeah.
She found Randy at his sister's house in Portland, where he moved after breaking up with Lucy. Moira said she was really confused at the flatness of Randy's response to this murder news.
Okay.
He wasn't like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Darcy? What?" Nothing. She said he seemed to accept it without any emotion at all. She said, "I might as well have been telling him I just saw the weather and it's supposed to be cloudy tomorrow." That's the same reaction. Like, "Oh, all right." Just like nothing happened here, which is wild. November of 80, there's a newspaper article about it in the Sunday Oregonian, and it says, "Homicide rate escalates. Storybook couple meets tragic end." Storybook couple is a weird way to put it, since the guy just stole her away from her live-in boyfriend. That's not really
it's a storybook. It's a nightmare for one guy.
Yeah, it's a story, all right. So this article says they were the all-American couple. She was the up-and-coming young banker, and he was the boy next door. Their romance was the type written about in fairy tales. Right. I've never heard that fairy tale.
I mean, it's certainly it's a Shakespeare novel, but somebody's going to die every time.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they say they're calling it the worst year in Portland homicide history. Yeah. They said Portland police have released few details about the double slayings, except that they were at 1754 North Portland Boulevard here, discovered by her father, Dr. Arthur Fix, who is a surgeon in Portland. Now, apparently, her and her new boyfriend here were former neighbors and childhood sweethearts and had remained in love, and that's how it happened. Yeah. They were childhood sweethearts here. And apparently he had arrived, her boyfriend had arrived at her house Wednesday evening and spent the night to do Thanksgiving shit. And he was shot in the head and she was shot in the head and neck and chest. So he was shot just to be killed, and she was given extra. Yeah. So that's interesting. They said that she was found in a bathrobe, and that was that. So she was obviously just kind of hanging out. They said there's been so many of these homicides this year that never happened before, and one of the relatives here of Darcy said that there was no reason for it. We can't explain it. We wonder if there might be some vendetta, whether somebody might be out there trying to get the rest of us. That's a little narcissistic. Yeah.
The rest of us.
We're
like a horror movie cast.
Yeah, no shit. They're coming for the rest of us. It's like Jaws 3 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's got the
He knows where we're at. Yeah, he's got the taste for us. So I guess their families had lived across the street from each other till 5 years ago. They started dating when they were in high school. They were both on the swimming team. By the way, her boyfriend had been voted, quote, best all-around boy of 1974.
All-around boy.
I don't know what that means. And she was crowned Winter Sports Queen in 1976. Okay. So the best all-around boy and the Winter Sports Queen are together. Yeah, that is storybook. Very, very storybook here. But there's really a lot on this murder. Just a whole lot on it. Apparently, they talked about how there was plans, and they were trying to figure out if they had plans to go somewhere else and that kind of thing. They said that on the day before Thanksgiving Day, a day that she planned also to see another close friend, there's a letter, and one of the people said, Doug even told me when and what time he's coming up next. Thanksgiving Wednesday, he'll be here about 11:30 p.m. God, now that's a real commitment from Doug. We talked for over 20 minutes. Wow. Okay. Interesting. One person said they were both all American, clean living, a little old fashioned. That was them.
I don't know what that means.
Real flat top kind of couple.
I'm in the dark about these two people.
Best all around boy.
Yeah.
Oh man. One neighbor in the area said, it didn't used to be this way. Now we lock up and my husband answers the door. Okay. Won't even answer the door.
Poor bastard's got a job at the house now.
Yeah. I'm only here to answer.
I just got comfortable. God damn it.
God damn it. Gee, can you please? All right, fine.
It's a murder. Up. Just answer the fucking door.
Just answer the goddamn door. It's fine.
I'll sit here in the lazy boy with my 38. How's that?
Bring a knife with you. How's that sound? So it obviously is a little odd that Randy is closely associated with two women who are murdered within 6 weeks of each other.
Right.
That's a little odd when we know about Randy. Now, he was questioned in both cases here,
really?
And which is really strange, obviously. But and the detective said it's strange, but he's a guy who knows a lot of people. It could happen.
Yeah, he's a handsome fellow. He's a swinger, man.
Yeah, he meets women on the street.
He's swinging.
He knows tons. Look at all the women in his phone book. He could know everybody. So. Now, he continued to go after women, complaining that they always do him wrong, and all that kind of thing, obviously. It's always their fault. Right. He basically just fucks as many women as he can.
Okay.
Everyone said he hit on basically every young woman he came across. He hit on.
Fine.
That's fine. Got to shoot your shot.
I've seen him. Yeah.
But they said he was described as clumsy and transparent in his approaches.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you're handsome enough, even if you're not handsome enough, if you talk to 100 women, 2 of them will fuck you.
Right.
You just have to be willing to put the work in to talk to 100 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, especially if you're a handsome guy, you get a couple of them that aren't real concern with connecting mentally on a level, and they just want to bang this guy, and they do it. So
you might get a couple that just have the taste for dick.
And that's what he did. He got a lot of them here. He needed a different woman every day. And like, as Ann Rule put it in the book, if one woman was good, two was better.
Okay.
Obviously, if two made him feel good, then maybe 3 or 5, or maybe a dozen women in a week will make him feel better. Like, who knows? Doesn't fucking know. And once he makes contact with a woman, once he has your address or your phone number,
he's never forgetting it.
You are in his loop of correspondence for the rest of your goddamn life. That's it. He would stop in. He would send cards to people too, like with like clever shit written in them. Like he really knew how to keep a correspondence going. He wanted to make sure all these women remembered him. He'd call late at night just to tell him, just thinking about you, to see how you're doing, which was considered friendly back then, not creepy. So they say that basically 3 kinds of women he would approach. Women near his own age would see through him immediately and want nothing to do with him. They would see him and be attracted to him, and then he would start talking, and then be like, okay, never mind.
This is awful.
They thought he was phony, and he couldn't even get phone numbers from him, basically. A bit younger and less worldly, they would initially find him attractive, but then after a couple of weeks, they would lose interest in him. Sure. But the younger girls, they would love him.
They like it.
The real young girls love him. Now, he's doing this mainly in bars, which you did. That's where you met people back then, was in bars. Sure. Now, nobody meets in bars anymore.
No. In bars, if you talk to somebody, they're pissed off.
They're like, ew, get away from me. I'm talking to my friends. Yeah, no one.
What do you want?
Yeah. People used to go to bars to meet people. Now it's like you go to bars to hang out with your friends.
To be alone.
In your own private group away from people. Yeah. Very different. So, he's still very, very handsome, but he's still not like, he's still got some scarring on his face too from his acne problems here. But he would dress up in his designer jeans. He would have plaid shirts, basically open to the belly button.
Oh, really?
Showing off his hairy, muscular chest. It's 1980. This is still disco. You know what I mean? So he had a gold chain and a pendant. He had boots with heels that made him 6'4" instead of 6'2". He's all that kind of thing. He would ask a woman to dance. He'd buy them drinks. He would talk to them about his sad childhood and all that, trying to make them feel bad for him, which older women don't. They're not falling for that shit.
Right.
30-year-old women are like, what do you bring to the table? What do you offer me? Whereas younger women are like, oh, you're a puppy and I want to help you. Older women get it through that. And they're like, what do you bring to me? I don't need to bring anything else to you. You tell me what I got a vagina. That's what I'm bringing.
And that's all that you care about right now.
That's what you want. Yeah. So show your worth, motherfucker. Yeah. So he would, fall in love and shower women with affection and attention. And then if a woman rejected him, he'd just be like, all right. And he moved to the next one. He just didn't care in a bar. But he was in love with every woman he talked to in the bar. Sure. He would push really hard. He would hold their hands. He would try to kiss them. They said basically in a matter of 5 minutes, he would go from what's your name to I think we could fall in love.
Oh, my.
Which, again, to a young girl, this all seems like a big fantasy, and they love that kind of shit. An older woman's like, hold on a minute. I want to find out, what do you pull down every week? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of factors here.
What are your prospects in life? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Exactly. I'm going to ask you some serious interview questions here. He would want to go home with them all the time. He even said a lot of times he would say, like, no, not for sex. I'll sleep on your couch. I promise. I just want to come home with you. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Weird. Really weird. And that would freak a lot of women out. And be like, a lot of women would call him a weirdo, and that's like kind of shit like behind his back, and to other people at the bar, they're like, this fucking weirdo. Just always in women's faces. But they're looking for something that he's not. So he didn't understand why anyone rejected him.
No?
He didn't get that just some women aren't attracted to, just not everybody is compatible. He didn't get that. Yeah. If he thought you were hot and he wanted to fuck you and you didn't want to fuck him, that was because there's something wrong with you.
What the hell is going on in your head?
Well, yeah, you idiot. Look at me. I'm an Adonis.
Yeah.
I'm an Adonis.
Yeah.
He felt that they were always standing him up. And because a lot of women wouldn't show up for their dates that they'd planned.
Sure.
And it never occurred to him that maybe they didn't show up because he harangued them into a date so much they felt like the only way they could get away from him was to agree to it. That's probably why. Okay. But he took it as, you showed me up. Right. You stood me up. This is ridiculous. So it's very weird. The women who would come, he would just fucking, be all over them, basically. He would lie to women. He would treat them. He took it as he was treating them the way he thought they deserved to be treated.
Yeah.
So, but he would get angry inside and be all pissed off and everything here. So just going after, it's so creepy, just going after women. Now, 1980, Randy thinks about leaving Portland. He'd been questioned about 2 different murders in the past little while.
Yeah.
He's like, the cops know my name a little bit too much at this point. Homicide detectives, for that matter. So, he liked to rob people, by the way. He's robbing people all through this time. He's robbing convenience stores and things like that. So he figured he contacted one of his old prison buddies, a guy named Tony Neary, and they teamed up for some robberies.
Now that you're out, let's talk.
Let's talk. The Fawcett Tavern first. That was that $3,000. Yeah. Then a Safeway store in Vancouver, Washington, among a bunch of others. Now, Neary is smarter than Randy.
Yeah.
And Neary is kind of a professional criminal and knows what he's doing. And he says, listen, you need a disguise, okay? But nothing crazy. Don't put on a fucking Richard Nixon mask because people are going to see you walking in like that. It's going to draw attention. This is what you need to do. All you need to do is you put several strips of tape or Band-Aids on the bridge of your nose. That's all anyone is going to see is that. They're not going to know anything about you except that you had Band-Aids on your nose. Yep.
And you just take those off as you leave.
Take them off as you leave, and that's that. It's the same reason why when they shot Paul Castellano in the street, they did it wearing Shriners hats.
Yeah. All right.
All everybody said was, all I saw was the Shriner hat. I saw guys in Shriner hat, trench coat. All they saw.
Yeah.
Smart. It's smart criminality. So that's what you do. Nobody will be able to describe him. And it worked, too, by the way. Yeah. That's the first thing everybody said, Band-Aids on the nose. Dark hair, Band-Aids on the nose. Could be anybody. So Randy said, that's a pretty good idea, but I'm also going to glue on a fake beard.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Neary carried a .357 during the robberies, but Randy just carried a toy gun.
Oh.
Didn't need it because you just need to show the gun. Yeah.
Just as bad, right?
It's just still armed robbery. Yeah. It doesn't matter. So after the robbery, he would take the tape and the beard off and hide them in his backpack, and that was that. And sometimes he used his car, which was a Champagne Edition gold Volkswagen Bug.
Champagne Edition.
Didn't
even know that was a thing.
Neither did I. That's hilarious.
I love Volkswagens. I've never heard that.
The Champagne Edition. Wow. Sometimes they'd use Neary's car because the Champagne Edition stood out. The gold Bug was
most people
memorable.
that drive Volkswagens don't drink champagne.
No, it's not the Champagne Edition. That's why they're buying a car that was like $3,200 brand new back then.
And they've maintained that value.
No shit. So after the murders of the 2 women, that's when the robberies start on December 9th, 1980. That's when they held up a gas station, and a 22, he had a fake beard and Band-Aids on his nose. A 22-year-old female cashier at Eddie's Arco station was robbed by a tall, dark-haired man wearing an obviously fake beard.
Yeah.
They said that the spirit gum used to fix the beard to his face had loosened so much that the beard was half hanging off of him. Like an SNL sketch gone bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's upside down.
It's all fucked up.
Who's Harry Crumb? It's now his chest hair is his beard.
Totally. That was great. That's awesome. So she told the cops, he showed me this small silver gun and said, it's for real.
Oh, it's the 32.
Small
silver
gun. Yeah, it's a revolver too, by the way. Interesting.
Yeah.
Never found. She gave him the money in the till and told her to turn around and watch TV.
Yeah.
Meaning the surveillance camera. And that at that point was malfunctioning. The tape had stuck between the camera heads, so they didn't get him on tape.
What?
So a composite picture from the clerk's recall showed a dark-eyed man with a beard. That's it.
Yeah.
Could be anybody.
Sure.
So Portland's not working out for him so much. He's lost all the jobs he's got. He's known by the police. He's fucked all the women that'll fuck him.
Yeah.
So he wants to move to Eugene, which is about 70 miles away.
Yep. Down south.
He was going to not tell his parole officer, though, until maybe after he was there or maybe not at all. So he's got another old prison buddy named Ralph Wansey, and Ralph had moved to Los Angeles after his parole, but he had family in Medford, Oregon, and so he and Randy made plans to meet in Medford for the 1980 Christmas holiday. Christmas with a con, isn't that nice? So Randy flew into Medford Christmas morning, and they spent Christmas Day with Ralph's mother and stepfather, his buddy there.
Yeah.
The next day, Randy said, let's go bar hopping and look for some chicks. So Ralph said, all right, I mean, why not? Ralph's not a real big, ladies man, but he said, sure, why not? What the hell? Ralph had a hair lip, which doesn't help.
Shit.
And it makes him shy. He's not real confident with the ladies, but
No.
Randy said, I got enough Randy for both of us. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
Literally.
If you go to a busy enough place, odds are there's one person there that finds something about that attractive.
Yeah, or a couple of women where one wants to fuck Randy so bad she talks her friend into just fucking this guy to, so we can all hang out. That's the other thing that happens too. I'm sure there's been much pussy scored in that way. Because some chick was taking one for the team because her friend wanted to bang the hot guy or whatever. So
yeah, right.
Now on December 26th, Randy's 30th birthday, he picked up 4 women.
What?
4.
Yeah.
In the Bonanza room of the Sandpiper. When Randy brought the first set of women over to the table, this was one was Denise Lenore, a pretty divorcee from Ashland, Oregon, out for the evening after hiring a babysitter for her youngsters here. Denise found Randy very attractive, although her friend didn't really like Ralph, as we expected. Wow. Now, the men wanted to party and hang out, and Denise explained that she had to get home, so she gave Randy her phone number, and he promised to call her. Randy told Ralph, don't worry about it. So a short time later, he hits on a pair of sisters here, Lynette and Rose Lacey.
Yeah.
And her sister Rose had come up from North Hollywood to visit over Christmas. Ralph and Rose got along. They both lived in the Los Angeles area. They were talking. Lynette initially really dug Randy, and they spent the rest of the evening together and made a date for Saturday, December 27th. So they met again, and then Lynette and Randy had drinks at her house, and later they drove to another bar to meet Rose and Ralph. Now, in this second evening, Lynette started to think that maybe this guy isn't so great, this Randy guy.
No?
Yeah. For one thing, he announced loudly to the entire bar that he was looking for some coke to buy.
That's Randy.
Anyone have cocaine?
Clever. Yeah.
Anyone?
No, narc.
I'd love to buy some cocaine if anyone has any for sale.
Nose candy. A little toot, if you will.
I'm looking for a little toot.
Trying to go skiing tonight. You know what I mean?
Anybody? Cocaine is what I'm saying. I'm looking for. Anybody? So that's a turnoff.
Yeah.
And she said Randy just didn't wear well. He was insistent and pushy. She called him an oversexed teenage boy, basically.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I'll stay overnight with you.
Okay.
And she said, no, you won't.
Wow.
He said, well, that's the only way we can get to know each other.
That's the only way I can taste you.
I want to have sex with you here.
Yeah.
She said, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And he said, you should want that. There's got to be something the matter with you. That's the problem. It's your fault. If you don't want this, you're wrong. And she was like, why'd I fucking hang out with this guy?
Right.
What a dipshit. You know what I mean? She's like, this is done here. So before the night is over, Denise and Lynette had both heard from Randy, the ones that she, gave the phone number to, the first pair. Denise was surprised to hear from him at 5 a.m. Yeah. And he wanted her to drive from Ashland to the Medford airport to pick him up.
Come over to the port.
I just met you the night before.
Can I get a right? You don't. It's. I'd ask somebody if I could see their asshole before I'd ask them to give me a ride
from the airport. If you just met them, if you've known someone for 6 hours, you are way more likely to see their asshole than get them to drive you from the airport.
To or from the airport.
Many assholes have been seen within hours of meeting, but very few airport trips have been taken within hours of meeting someone. Very few.
Yeah.
You'd be more successful. Well, his plane was fogged in, so it couldn't take off. So
anyway.
he needed a ride to Portland.
Yeah.
So you want to give me a ride to Portland too? Yeah. She said, my kids are sleeping. What are you talking about? He said, well, leave them there.
It sounds like they're well taken care of.
I mean, they'll be fine.
The Sandman's got them.
Come on.
Don't worry about
it. What are you talking about? They'll be all right. Don't worry. They're fine. How are they ever going to get to know how to do their own thing if you don't let them? You know what I'm saying? You're suffocating these kids, really. They're like babies, by the way. They're like toddlers. She said no, and she said, what a fucking asshole. What kind of a
Who would
lunatic
do such a thing?
would want that? Randy called Lynette to say that he was burned out from partying for 3 straight days, and now he just missed his plane too. Yeah. So he's at the bus station, and he said he'd like to spend the day with her, but Lynette said, that's all right, I'm good. I'd show you my butthole, but I'm not talking to you for this long. So he was particularly interested in Lynette, though. He wrote her several times, even though she keeps brushing him off. Right. One time he wrote, if we are meant to be together, it will happen. The stars just weren't right the night we were together. She was like, what a fucking weirdo.
Even a stinky one.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. She's just like, what a fucking weird dude.
What's going on with this guy?
I don't understand this. It's like, why is he... And she's also said, like, these letters they don't sound personal. They sound real, like this is his standard shit that he does. But he kept writing to her, and eventually she responded.
Oh.
Yeah, she thought maybe she'd misjudged him because he was so emotionally expressive and everything, and she thought, maybe I'll visit this guy. Maybe he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So... Anyway, Randy had claimed to just want one woman. He said, I just want a devoted woman that he can be loyal to me so I can be loyal to her.
A sub.
That's all I want. Yeah, well, and eventually, but it's going to come off as being real sweet at first.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do weird shit that I ask you to do, maybe at knife point. I'm not positive.
You don't know.
I'm not positive, yeah. So that's how he goes now. So December 13th of this year, he had robbed an ice cream parlor. On December 14th, he robbed a drive-in restaurant in Albany, Oregon.
Give me all your mint chip or I'll shoot.
Give me everything, all your cookies and cream. So he had a fake beard, a man with a fake beard and a Band-Aid across the bridge of his nose on December 13th in Eugene, Oregon. Walked into a Baskin-Robbins at about 6 p.m., brandished a silver pistol and forced the clerk to give him the money, obviously.
Yeah.
He said, now turn around and walk into the back room and stay there and don't do anything stupid.
Right.
As she walked away, she said she expected to be shot in the back, but he just left.
Oh.
She turned back around, he was gone. She said it was so strange. 15 minutes before he came in, there was this real grubby kid in here who told me how easy this place would be to rob. He just bought an ice cream cone and left. And then this clean-cut guy comes in and robs me. That's his partner coming in and scoping the place.
And he says shit like that? What a dummy.
What a dummy. The next evening, at 2 18-year-old clerks at the Arctic Circle Drive-In in Albany, Oregon, encountered a bearded man. He walked up to the drive-in window carrying a used Arctic Circle bag and a paper cup. He asked the girl on duty to fill the cup with water and throw the bag away, then asked for a clean bag. As he talked, he was watching the traffic on the street. When the street was empty, he handed the sack back to her and said, fill it up. And she said, I don't understand. And then she started to understand. She saw that he was pointing a gun at her now. Yeah. So he was like, oh, she's like, I get it.
Oh, the cash. Got it.
She was so scared she forgot how to open the cash register.
Yeah, that happens.
She couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So she had to call the other worker to come over and do it. And the bag, they put in $280 in cash.
$280.
He turned around and ran away.
Yeah.
During one of the robberies, he wore a Band-Aid across the bridge of his nose. Here on December 21st, wearing a false beard, he accosted a waitress in Seattle. This is interesting. We'll end on this. This is 4 days before Christmas. Not the same description, bridge of the nose deal here. This is in Albany. North of Albany, which was the last robbery. He did Eugene, Albany, and now Seattle. He's working his way up north. This is Kim Meehan, a 25-year-old who worked as a waitress at Church's Fried Chicken, which I didn't know they had servers there. Interesting. Huh. At Lake Forest Park, north of Seattle. She felt nauseated and called her father at 9 to ask him to come pick her up. So she went in the women's restroom and put cold water on her face. Yeah. Suddenly there was a loud knock on the door, and she looked up to see a man pushing his way in.
Oh, boy.
He smiled and said, "Excuse me," but he didn't leave. He locked the door behind him.
Oh, boy.
So then he pulled a silver revolver from the pocket of his hooded coat and ordered her to take her blouse off and said, "Do what I say and you won't get hurt."
Oh, my God.
She just didn't know what to do about this. She said she was kind of in shock and didn't know what the hell to go on. She's like, I can hear the other employees in the restaurant going on the other side of the wall. Right. It's right there. So she's like, this is crazy. She said he wore a peculiar, ragged, fake beard, moved toward her, and pulled up her blouse and bra and started to fondle her breasts.
Oh, boy.
Then he said, "Now I want you to beat me off." All righty.
Handy.
He's a charmer.
Yeah.
He's a real charmer. He's good with his words.
These are good. Beat me off. That's fucking
beat me off.
Horrifying.
She said, "I don't know how to."
Oh, okay, great.
She's a young girl who works at a church. She doesn't know. He said, "I'll show you how," and then put the gun to her head.
Oh, boy.
She was like, all right, let's get a lesson going here. The gun to my head here. So she did what he asked, and after about 2 minutes, he fucking shot all over her tits there. That's what she was going for. He then said, "That was good." Then said, "Now you stay in here for 5 minutes, count to 100, and nobody will get hurt."
That was good. Yikes.
That was good. Now count, and he takes off. She said she wanted to scream, but she thought that he might be outside listening.
Yeah.
No, he's running as far away as he can. He just raped a woman at gunpoint. So she waited 5 minutes before she pounded on the wall and screamed for help, actually. The fry cook called the police and told the deputies that he could describe the man, too.
Really?
He said, "I can't believe it. That guy was in here. He ordered a number 5 dinner and paid for it." He must have seen Kim walk back into the restroom. He was wearing a hooded brown corduroy or suede jacket with a sheepskin lining. 20 minutes later, the man in the brown jacket, minus the fake beard, went over to, was eating an ice cream cone that he ordered at Baskin-Robbins, another Baskin-Robbins in Bothell, Washington. 2 teenage girls worked that night and were ready to lock the doors up at about 10 p.m., but this guy kept hanging around. And the girls were joking. Maybe he's going to rob us or something. Ha, ha, ha. So he then asked them to throw away the last of his ice cream cone and then asked for some ice water. They said we could only have tap water. So he took a sip and asked for a lid for the cup. Then he asked for a straw and a paper bag. Obviously, now these girls didn't know that this is his routine.
Sure.
And they thought he was just being a little weird. Then he stood for a minute and he said, "Now put all the money in the bag," as he took a gun out of his pocket.
Oh, boy.
Now, all the money was over $500 because it was closing time. Yeah. He then ordered the 2 girls to sit on the floor, count to 50, and look the other way as they left. Now, they said that they remembered he did not have a car, not at the Baskin-Robbins lot anyway. They said he was probably in his mid-20s, good-looking, full mustache, tan complexion, thick head of dark brown curly hair. He wore blue jeans, a maroon and blue rugby-type shirt with a V-neck trimmed in white. That's a good description.
Yeah.
Brown suede jacket with sheepskin lining. Gun was silver, and they saw a cylinder. They know it's a revolver.
Right.
These girls are lucky because he was all out of jizz at this point.
Yeah.
"I'm all out of jizz. I just want your money. Put it in the bag." What the fuck, boy. Dude? He just wants jizz. He has out of jizz. So that's that. He's doing this. By January, the cops are now dubbing this robber the I-5 bandit because all of these are up and down the I-5 corridor.
Sure.
On January 8th, he held up the same Vancouver gas station that he robbed in December, this time forcing the female attendant to expose her breasts after she emptied the cash register.
Oh, boy.
And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a few of these other weird ones that are coming up here. We'll do that next week.
Oh, great.
As we settle into this, because he's all crime from here on out. I mean, we're done with the Packers. We're done with college.
Oh, yeah.
This is just, here's a bunch of weird crimes and show me your tits and worse. So we will get into all of that and more next week. Do that. Definitely before next week, head over to whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It helps a lot. We don't know why the fuck it helps, but it helps. Yeah. So do that and keep coming back and hanging out with us. Follow us at Crime and Sports on social media. Certainly get yourself some Patreon. You need Patreon. I'm telling you. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get so much. You're going to get hundreds of bonus episodes, 300 to be exact, immediately upon subscription. You can binge them right away. Then you get new ones every other week, one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you just get them all. That's how it works. Yeah. You get everything. This week for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about Jeff Alm, who was a football player who just had a spectacularly crazy ending to his life. It's wild, and we'll talk about that. Really weird shit. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about people who date prisoners, people who marry prisoners, serial killers and the like, and why, and try to figure out the psychology and everything else behind it. We'll fail, but we'll still have a good time trying to figure it out. So we'll check that out, and you check that out. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all the stuff there. But, Jimmie, I need to hear something good. I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of gross shit this week. So, please, Jimmie, tell me good things. Tell me the names of the most fantastic people in the fucking world who keep the show afloat, who keep supporting us, and who keep being awesome. Jimmie, hit me with them right goddamn now.
This week's executive producers are Destily Sassman, Gary Howard,
Sassman.
Carrie Clark, and Holly Davidson. Thank you all so much. You're amazing.
You spectacular bastards. We love you.
Other producers this week: Peyton Meadows, Jeff Adamski, Janice Hill, Claire with no last name, Devon Messarosh, Dustin Wilson, Alexis Snow, Devin Grisson, Crystal LaFontaine, Celine Bray, Cody Hinkle, Adam Mears, Jenny Urbanski, Knox Eris, Brooke Jacobson, Ray with no last name, Jennifer Gott, Leslie Smize, Cassie Reddington, Lisa Ann Blozer. Oh my God. Scott with no last name, Ryan Alvaro, Elizabeth Kazad Calhoun, Stephen Morehouse, Sean Scott, Kieran Jameson, Gus Rupp, Mackenzie Collins, Edward Grabow, Angela Venegas, Dustin Wilkinson, Rebecca Wright, Chloe 1462, Terry with no last name, Carrie Isaacson, Samantha with no last name, Ashley Herring, Coach Smitty, Heather German or Herman? German, probably. Nick Bergen.
Thank you.
Iona with no last name. Patty Green, Brandon Goldsberry, Jill Bone, Jonathan Dunlap, Kevin with no last name, Teresa Reeves, Lauren Chatnick, Brendan Mathias, Gabriel Latour, Stephen Miller. Oh, it's Steph Miller. Jennifer P., Stacy Morton, Cornelia Gustafson.
Oh. Cornelia. That's a good name.
Jennifer Novoselic, Ashley Dietrich, Matt Dorr, or perhaps Dory, probably Dorr, Eric Lazowski, Paula Dunson, Paul Clark, Pat Newton, Christopher Mentz, David with no last name, Dan with no last name, Catherine Cook, Kurt with no last name, Frank Spagnuolo.
Hey,
Spagnuolo.
Some Cody, fucking guinea.
Cody Champlin. Ryan with no last name. Seth Powers. Lynn Donnarumma. Kay with no last name. Just the letter K. Taylor Happel. Megan Sheely. Haley with no last name. Jeffrey Reed. Megan Keys. Amanda Johnson. Billy Smith. Trevor with no last name. Vincent Santano. Jordan Grant. Brandon Hilton, Kevin Steele, Mary Lawton, Olivia Gifford Edmiston, Sahar Arafat Ray, Marco Yolo. That's fun. Amy Dickey, Jordan H., Katie Reif or Reef, Jill Anderson, Amanda Mills, Robert with no last name, XO Rachel, Chucky Wilson, Chris Lampley, Executrix 85. I don't know what that is. Kristen Miller, Andrew David, Stephanie Rice, Jim Slicer, Luda K, Bobby Wright, Kelly Ruby, Amanda Schuckert, Jessica Crabtree, Darth Finn, Julianne Wright, Jeremy Schreppel, Lanisha Chisholm, Allie K, Melissa Hick, Dusty with no last name, Aaron Shanahan, Carl Glover, Dina Leister, Abby Haley, Nick Durbin, Matthew Harris, Erica Rummel, it's probably Rummel, Reeves Campbell, Anthony Hines, Frank Benson, Lonnie Thomas, Bridget with no last name, William with no last name, and all of our patrons. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody. You wonderful, beautiful bastards. We love you so much. Thank you for all that you've done for us and all that you continue to do for us. Honestly, you're fucking awesome. And everybody here that's been listening, you're all awesome. Thank you so much. If you want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop-down menu will take you where you need to go. Keep coming back. Part 3 next week. It's really going to get hairy and gross here. So it's all crime, knee deep in it. We're going to jump right in the middle of robberies and assaults and everything else. So it's a lot of crime coming up next week. So be there, and live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.